throughout the area and an excellent value for your advertising dollar. The Gazette provides you with a ready-made audience that shares your values, beliefs, and principles. Give them a call, 356-6700. Advertising with the Alabama Gazette is surprisingly affordable and extremely effective. 356-6700, the Alabama Gazette. Honest, informative, trustworthy, your conservative alternative newspaper. Real local news from real local people. The Alabama Gazette, they are most worthy of your support. Pro-life, pro-family, pro-America. 356-6700, give them a call. The Alabama Gazette, the people's paper.
Conservative Justice Sarah Stewart has the experience to lead Alabama's courts. As a tough-on-crime judge, Sarah Stewart presided over hundreds of cases, giving tough sentences to the worst criminals. Republicans can trust Justice Sarah Stewart to defend the Constitution and protect our families. On March 5th, vote conservative Republican Sarah Stewart for Alabama Chief Justice. Paid for by Sarah Stewart Campaign, 2029B, Airport Boulevard, Mobile, Alabama, 36606.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, mister, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a fella in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his hand. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Fat broads and horse face.
Shut up, silly woman.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
I'm also very much of a germaphobe, by the way.
You gotta go off, please.
Hold on to your butt.
Stop playing with it.
You know you conduct yourself in a democracy. I got hairy legs. I got worms. Those days, you used to remember the straight race. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty. I'm particularly glad that these lovely children were here today to hear that speech. Not only was it authentic frontier gibberish, it expressed a courage little seen in this day and age.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. Or as we're now calling it online, Joey Clark Live. Go to YouTube, like and subscribe. You can also watch on the Book of Faces or the X platform. We're expanding every day. And I mean that in every way. Not only is the show getting bigger, so am I. But that's another story for another day. Yeah, the holidays are never good. You lay your plans down, and yes, this is how we're going to begin the show, by the way, talking about how fat I'm getting. We could talk about the impending threat of civil war. Oh. We could talk about that. We could talk about this great debate that was had in South Alabama between Barry Moore and Jerry Carlin. There was a bit of a viral moment. Mm-hmm. I would say a brain fart, if that's allowed to be said, by Jerry Carl, but maybe it was also a slip of honesty on the part of Jerry and trying to have an honest conversation. We can get to that. We also have somebody in the studio. By the way, Eddie's here on a Thursday. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing all right. But the other guy in here, usually on a Friday, but he's on Thursday, yeah. Craig Monger.
Hi, folks. I only came because I thought Eddie wouldn't be here. Oh. Yeah. How do you like
I
that?
can leave because I didn't get lunch. I ain't hungry.
Just burned you.
Just shut up.
It's like some aloe vera for that burn I just sent your way.
Yeah, smell it. It's crispy.
So, Craig, you went to and did a thing last night?
I did do a thing last night. It was actually in the middle of the day, but it kept me very, very long. I had to drive to Tuscaloosa. Oh. Which, by the way, I can't remember the last time I was in Tuscaloosa, but no offense to anyone from Tuscaloosa, but I don't care. Fix your roads and fix just about everything else with the landscape there. It's an atrocious place.
I thought that was like God's country up there with all the football and Nick Saban and all. They can't fix their roads.
Yeah, you'd think so, but it was seriously there was not a square foot of road that was intact. It was all just.
What about all that highway money that the gas tax that went up?
No, we're doing the West Alabama corridor. In case you didn't know. Not going to a historic, college town where people drive, including presidential candidates.
Right.
No,
Correct.
It's going to be the West Alabama corridor where Nobody drives.
I wonder what property records would show of who's been buying and selling land in that corridor that's supposed to be built in West Alabama. I just wonder.
Ooh, I know a guy that can find out.
BlackRock. BlackRock.
Excellent.
No, I just wonder if anybody has ties to certain state senators who are trying to grease this plan through.
I don't know, but Greece is involved. You're 100% you're 100% right in that. It makes zero sense to me. I've heard it explained ad nauseum ad infinitum, and it's never made any sense.
So RFK Jr.
Yes.
How was it?
It was surprising. I showed up. I kind of didn't know what to expect as far as who was going to actually be attending. I sort of anticipated, lefties, lots of multicolored hair, poor clothing choices, even poor hygiene. And that wasn't the case. It was actually a lot of young men, a few young women, a couple old ladies that were there. I don't know why. They were just kind of sitting in front of me.
Really?
Yeah, they were there.
Oh, you said young men.
Yeah, I know they were there. They showed up and they're just like, it's catnip in here. But yeah, it was a lot of young, mostly white men. And of course, they're young college boys in Alabama, which means that if they were in a, lineup, you wouldn't be able to pick one out from another. They all look the same. I will have to say, I first thought the entire auditorium smelled like pot, and I tweeted as much, and then I got up and moved around, and I was like, oh no, there's just someone close to my vicinity who's been indulging. I thought it was so potent.
You were sitting with the cool
that
folks.
it sounded like it felt like the entire auditorium had that smell, but it was just my section.
The libertarian section.
More than likely. And it goes, there were some pretty diverse
I'd imagine
people there. Of course, everyone you talk to, they think it's like in vogue and makes you sound very fancy to be like, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. It's like, okay, bro, we get it. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're very nuanced.
Me too. Welcome to the club.
And so, but yeah, that's what it was. It was very diverse, and it's not racially diverse, but that's neither here nor there. It was very interesting to get him. He got a standing ovation, and he said a lot of really interesting things. I can't think of a single thing that he said that a Republican wouldn't have given a hearty amen to.
Oh. Especially, did he focus a lot on the COVID era and fighting back against that sort of thing?
Yes, that was probably the second most time that he spent talking about something. But yeah, he spent a long time talking about what he thought was wrong during the COVID era, and obviously he has a long history of advocacy in environmental stuff, and that obviously applies to large corporations and the way they affect the lives of everyday Americans. That's been his bread and butter since he was a teenager,
right.
Since he came out of not a teenager, but since he graduated college. And so he was very much hammering that away, what he thought was wrong, talking about the corporate influence in American government during the COVID regime, which again, that's been his thing forever. So he's certainly the most apt to talk about what happened during COVID and the effects of that, because he's been doing this for decades, and a lot of people just woke up around COVID. It's like, wait, what's going on? Corporate influences over the government?
Right. And again, folks, Craig Monger went and saw RFK Jr. at the University of Alabama last night, and from some polling I'm seeing, he's doing quite well nationwide.
He is doing well. The way he said this in a very polite way, but I think I can say it a bit more tersely, is that he appeals to the less crazy side of both sides of the political sphere. The radical lefties are always going to vote radical left. They'd vote for my left shoe if it had a D next to his name.
Right.
And then of course, and then there's the hardcore Trump Republicans who went from supporting his messaging in 2016 to supporting him come hell or high water.
Right.
So those people that are maybe a little bit on the right that are a little bit disenchanted with Trump, and those on the left that are a little bit disenchanted with Biden and the Biden regime and everything that he's been pushing, I think they find a kindred soul in RFK Jr. And it's going to be very, very interesting. Specifically whenever he talked about the possibility of a contingent election. I don't know if you saw that bit in the article.
Yeah.
But contingent election, which hasn't happened in the presidential election for 200 years.
Right.
It's when not one candidate gets gets the majority of the electoral votes.
The 270 number.
Yes. And so they have to, at that point, then I think all that RFK would have to get is like 30 something in order to push a contingent election. And a contingent election means the Senate chooses the VP, which that's sort of a moot point now because we don't know who anyone's VP is except for Joe Biden. And so the Senate chooses the VP, the House chooses the president, and each state gets one vote. So all the delegates vote in block. And RFK made a point, and I think it's a very interesting point, that not a single Democrat is going to vote for Donald Trump and not a single Republican is going to vote for Joe Biden if that's the case. So what do you do then? He said your career would be over. If you're a Democrat and you vote for Trump, career done. Republican, you vote for Biden, career done. And then you have a third party candidate in there.
Well, and there are more red states than blue states, right?
Yes, but
that'd be fascinating.
That would be fascinating, but I actually meant to sit down and do the math as to what that looks like, but I don't think each of them, because you have to get 26, and I don't think any of them would get 26.
Okay, so it would be a true negotiation, and like
it would be, and they can't do any other business. They can't talk about anything. They have to stay in Congress and vote on nothing until they select a president.
Wow. And that would be, talk about historic. And you know what? It makes too much sense given the times we live in.
Yeah, I again, the conspiracist in me likes to think that RFK would meet some sort of unfortunate incident.
Well, I was watching Michael Malice's show, You're Welcome, and he had on Dr. Drew Pinsky.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, it was a great interview. Go watch it, folks. Go look it up. But Pinsky at one point says, yeah, I'm actually going to RFK Jr.'s birthday party. And goes, oh, by the way, Mouse, is this being aired like today? No. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, he still doesn't have Secret Service security.
Oh, he has security, though.
Okay.
He has security.
Good.
Let me tell you. Because I had to walk in, my bag got searched. It was metal detectors, the whole kit and caboodle. Obviously, there was police there. That's just organized. No matter who you're doing, there's going to be police there.
Yeah,
but he has
still
security.
let you in.
What now?
Yeah, they still let you in. So
yeah,
that makes me about security.
I left the blicky in the car. I'm smart when I go to these things. So.
Right. But still,
wait, are you trying to start a civil war in this room?
No,
right now?
No.
This is a guest of the show, Eddie.
It's a good guy right here. Just saying security.
You don't have to say that. I slammed you at the opening of the show. Call me a douche.
I still smell it. It's crispy in here.
So it's going to be the damnedest election as we go into it. But I'm wondering what is going to happen in the meantime, because what's happening in Texas and now the
unreal
push back and forth is absolutely unreal. Democrats are now calling on Biden to seize control of Texas National Guard, and Republicans are now introducing legislation in the Congress to ban federal authorities from removing Texas razor wire following the SCOTUS defeat. And Governor Abbott, heard around the country at least, maybe around the world, yesterday in that statement he put out. And, from my conversation earlier this week with Judge Napolitano, these folks have every right to defend their border. Texas has every right to do that. As far as Judge Knapp's concerned, the federal powers are naturalization, so deciding how citizenship is given, how that process works. But in terms of securing the border, I think Texas has every right to use their police power to go about it that way.
And did you see, guess whose governor backed Governor Abbott just recently? Did you see that?
This morning?
Yeah.
Shut him in.
Oh, Meemaw.
Governor Abbott.
Back in Abbott.
Yes, she did.
Mwah. Beautiful.
Beautiful indeed. Good job.
Yeah,
Governor
Abbott has got some stones on him, man. Let me tell you, because whether or not he's willing to take this to the point of a Fort Sumter, which I doubt is the case, that would not be allowed to happen. He is absolutely putting Biden on the spot here, because if you look at why Biden sucks in his polling with his own people, it's the border.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When these metro areas that lean very, very, very far left, what are they concerned about? It's mass immigration. So if he goes in there with military force to destabilize and unprotect a border, to do the absolute opposite of protecting the border with what he's doing in Texas, he's committing political suicide. As far as
I think it's treasonous if you start sending the military to take out citizens of the country on behalf of non-citizens and international cartels and all the other crap that's flowing through that border. Yeah, so here's what I want to do. It's not that long. I'm going to skip over some of the legal language if necessary, folks. But this is what Governor Greg Abbott, governor of Texas, put out yesterday afternoon. Quote, "The federal government has broken the compact between the United States and the states. The executive branch of the United States has a constitutional duty to enforce federal laws protecting states, including immigration laws on the books right now. President Biden has refused to enforce those laws and has even violated them. The result is that he has smashed records for illegal immigration. Despite having been put on notice in a series of letters, one of which I delivered to him by hand, President Biden has ignored Texas's demand that he perform his constitutional duties. President Biden has violated his oath to faithfully execute immigration laws enacted by Congress. Instead of prosecuting immigrants for the federal crime of illegal entry, President Biden has sent his lawyers into federal courts to sue Texas for taking action to secure the border. President Biden has instructed his agencies to ignore federal statutes that mandate the detention of illegal immigrants. The effect is to illegally allow them en masse parole in the United States. By wasting taxpayer dollars to tear open Texas's border security infrastructure, President Biden has enticed illegal immigrants away from the 28 legal ports and points of entry along this state's southern border, bridges where nobody drowns, and into the dangerous waters of the Rio Grande. Governor Abbott goes on. Under President Biden's lawless border policies, more than 6 million illegal immigrants have crossed our southern border in just 3 years. That is more than the population of 33 different states in this country. This illegal refusal to protect the states has inflicted unprecedented harm on the people all across the United States. James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and the other visionaries who wrote the U.S. Constitution foresaw that states should not be left to the mercy of a lawless president who does nothing to stop external threats like cartels smuggling millions of illegal immigrants across the border. That is why the framers included both Article 4, Section 4, which promises that the federal government, quote, shall protect each state against invasion, end quote, and Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, which acknowledges the states' sovereign interest in protecting their borders. Then he goes on to cite Supreme Court case law. The failure of the Biden administration to fulfill its duties imposed by Article 4, Section 4 has triggered Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, which reserves to this state the right of self-defense. For these reasons, I have already declared an invasion under Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 to invoke Texas's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. The Texas National Guard, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and other Texas personnel are acting on that authority, as well as state law, to secure the Texas border. Signed, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas.
God bless Texas.
Damn.
Yeah.
And thank you to Kay Ivey for sending support their way. And already folks are noticing it's like all the old Confederacy rising up again. I'm like, please just stop it. Yeah. It's not 1840s anymore by any means. It's not the 1850s.
Well, the question's the same, but the thing apprehended by that question is much different.
Much different.
Whereas it was the question being apprehended is can the principle is state sovereignty. Can a state determine its own destiny in any given number of things? Now, of course, during the days of the Confederacy, they apprehended an egregious cause of moral horror, which was slavery, as that reason. Now, you have someone saying, does the state have the right to supersede any federal ramblings about how I am allowed to police and defend my state from what is a legitimate invasion? I don't care what anyone has to say. Libertarians, I know, open borders, shut up. This is a big problem.
Yes.
This is a huge problem.
And, whatever happened to the concept of citizen? Victor Davis Hanson's been writing about this. His book that came out a year or two ago, The Death of Citizen. It's shocking to see it more and more a stark reality, what he predicted in that book. And what's so frustrating is that when you're a citizen, that means you're not a serf. When you're a citizen, it means you're not a subject. When you're a citizen, it means you're not a slave. When you're a citizen, it should mean that the federal government doesn't have the arbitrary right to fleece you and milk you like chattel. When you're a citizen, it means that you actually have God-given rights, recognized not by governments, because governments don't give a damn about your God-given rights, but by people using their rational mind, their God-given wisdom, to look through this world and go, this is how human beings should work with one another. And if we start throwing out this idea of a citizen with God-given rights, and we now just become the chattel to be milked and fleeced for the sake of this federal government's goals to save the world for democracy, the kicker being we're not even a frickin' democracy anymore.
Mm-mm.
No wonder you're getting division. And honestly, at this point, if we can't figure it out, bring on the national divorce, and hope and pray it'll be peaceful. I don't see that happening quickly, but it could.
Honestly, did you anticipate in your lifetime that this would be a conversation that we'd be having?
No.
What these absolute scumbags have done in a very short amount of time, it's nothing short of criminal. The fact that there are people legitimately in the 21st century wondering, planning, considering what their reaction would be if there was another civil war in the United States of America. Because the people that we have put in power and the people that have taken power are, I just...
Well, in my mind, it doesn't have to be the Civil War. Like, read, say, the history of the 1980s and the old Soviet bloc. That broke up. Correct. There wasn't a huge civil war. It wasn't always bloodless either.
Yeah, but people are scared. That's the point.
Right.
People are scared. And I'm not, but I talk to ordinary people, which is something, by the way, that these politicians don't do. They don't talk to ordinary people. They wouldn't know an ordinary person's position if it kicked them in the crotch.
Right.
But I'm talking to ordinary people, and they're legitimately concerned. Now, not only are they legitimately concerned about how they're gonna, if their transmission went out, how they're gonna fix that because the economy is so trash that nobody has a savings account anymore. Not only are they worried about that, but they're worried about what happens if we legitimately move towards some sort of national divorce. What is that going to look like? Is it going to be bloodless? How is that going to affect the economy, et cetera, et cetera? It's unreal, the conversations that we're having in the 21st century.
Eddie, did you think you'd ever see this day?
Nope. It wasn't that long ago we were worried about forces from the outside, like 9/11, how quickly we've gone to looking at Civil War literally from the inside. Yeah. I mean, and I don't know what changed suddenly, but suddenly our own enemy is my neighbor.
Well, and it's amazing, and there were libertarians who warned about this, that the tools created under the Patriot Act, surveillance tools, other tools developed as we're putting down insurgencies in Iraq and Afghanistan and assisting folks all over the world with their civil society, whether you're talking about the Arab Spring in Egypt or the color revolution in Ukraine and the coup, those tactics, all of that has now been brought home. And guess who's the foreign country? And here's the one message, because I'll be blunt. Thunder's call made me real sad yesterday. Yeah. And I'm not picking on her because what she said is pretty common. But do not let these bastards, pardon me, these manipulators and predators that run this government turn you against your neighbor. There are more important things in this world than this stupid political game, and it's an absolute shame that politics is consuming more and more of what used to be a beautiful country, and people that lived by their love for one another, their common values, and even if they didn't have common values and love one another, hell, we can make $1 together, brother. Don't let these folks turn you against your neighbor. It's not the average Democrat or the average Republican who's the problem here. They've got you to buy into the lie that you actually control this government. You don't. What you need to do is lock arms with your neighbor and stand up to this Leviathan that deserves to be slayed. As far as I'm concerned, and I've said this before on the show, this government in Washington, D.C. is illegitimate, morally speaking and constitutionally speaking. It doesn't follow the Constitution. It wears it like a skin suit, like a Hannibal Lecter about to enjoy a nice meal. Cannibalizing its own population. That's a nasty taste to even say.
And it's absolutely true. The only thing that comes to mind is just, I think it's barbarous is the word. It's like it's barbaric because it's very clean, very, I wear a suit. Do you see the American flag on my lapel? Meanwhile, without the existence of the police state, these people would be in danger.
Oh, no doubt.
Because they are hated.
Yeah.
They are hated, the fact that they have sold this country out to interests that are not interested in the interests of the average American. They are being, like you said, fleeced. I thought of another word, and it involves Vaseline, but I'll leave that out.
Carlin already did that.
Yeah, it's exactly true. Everyone, you talk to people, what are they concerned about? They're concerned about their home. They're concerned about, do they have enough money to just take care of themselves, to feed their family, to fix their car, to fuel their car, not going into excessive debt, being able to work, not being taxed out the wazoo. Mm-hmm. That is what the majority of people care about. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't legitimate social issues that need to be ironed out. the case of the government scope in just your life.
Yeah.
You know, abortion, taxation, the transgender kids thing. That those are important conversations to have, but for the most part, those are a very, very loud minority of unbearably shrill white women that are yelling and screaming on Twitter, and then we get all whipped up into a froth about that, and then there's the racial divide. This is all intentional.
Yes.
To get you to turn against one another, because they don't want you to know that the enemy is not one another. It is the people that is stirring all of this up from their high towers and possibly in Davos, Switzerland.
Exactly right. And that's I said that I think this government's illegitimate morally speaking and constitutionally speaking. They do have legitimacy. It's their power to destroy. And I don't just mean missiles and bombs and men with guns. I mean the ability to destroy reputations, to destroy your ability to make a living, all the other ways. And sometimes not even the government. It's other, say, informal, very powerful institutions that might as well be considered government,
like the FBI, like the CIA,
or a lot of the, say, corporate media is that way.
100%. And that's what, going back to RFK, that's the thing. People have almost, Alex Jones, for instance, will say BlackRock till he's blue in the face. Now, that anytime someone says BlackRock, they sound like a bit of a kook. But the fact is, these giant multinational corporations, they're buying up real estate, including single-family dwellings all over the place. They're driving up interest rates and credit cards. They're making, through their advocacy in the military-industrial complex and the pharmaceutical industry, specifically in COVID, they drove up inflation to an unbelievable amount. And what is that leading towards? It almost sounds like they want you to own nothing but be happy.
Exactly right. And then I think another source of their legitimacy, but this is, I think, what's fraying the most. The ability to destroy people's lives is still there. And it's probably one of the most powerful governments ever on earth. Maybe China's giving them a run for their money now to be able to do those things, destroy reputations, livelihoods, or lives outright. But the other form of legitimacy that is now fraying, and we're seeing it now, is everybody was born in it. Pretty much everybody living now is born into a system we didn't build, but we're all dependent on. And you could pick a specific industry, you could pick certain parts of the government, almost to a man, whether you're talking about healthcare or you're talking about the Pentagon. If you ask somebody who's a pro, who's part of that system, and say, hey, if you could design this thing from the ground up, start at day zero, start from first principles, would you design it the way it works today? Almost everybody says, no.
Hell no.
And then, but what they then say, after they go, no, is, yeah, but don't slay my sacred cow, don't get rid of my gravy train. I got to make a living. I got kids to feed. So what's happening is people are dependent, and they'll put up with a crappy system as long as they can feed their family, as long as they can put together a life and a livelihood.
Even if
they got to keep their head down though.
Yeah.
But as soon as that starts to go by the wayside, to where this is now putting me in the red, that this is, I'm not operating at any profit. This is just loss after loss after loss. And then on top of that, I'm told I'm the problem as I'm being fleeced and milked and manipulated. Yeah, that's when people start to get rude and it's already happening. People just don't believe you anymore. In fact, later in the show, we have Jeff Dice calling at about 1:30. And he says, so much of our politics now comes down to this. I don't believe you anymore.
Yeah. Tim Pool said that. He's like, I'm at the point now, I'll believe any conspiracy theory.
Right.
And it's so multifaceted, the issue. It's like the government is the one bending you over a barrel. The media is the one asking you what you were wearing. And then the corporations are the one making sure you can't afford to defend yourself.
Well said. We got to hit a break here. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And well, men, there are two things that you need to look out for in terms of your health as a man, as we mature in particular. There is erectile dysfunction or other problems in the bedroom, but also low testosterone. And it's nothing to deny, put off, be ashamed about, and it's not something to wait to get fixed. I know guys, I'm a perfect example of it. We hate going to the doctor, but Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of guys like us. So if you're lacking motivation, energy, you're always tired, feel like you're walking through life in a fog, seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, even a decrease in libido and sex drive. Well, knowing whether or not you have low T is crucial to combating some of these issues. Did you know that as you age, a testosterone and PSA check should be part of your annual men's health routine? But it's not just those who are getting into the 50s, 60s, maybe even their 40s. Some urologists are now saying, hey, you should start getting your testosterone checked as a guy at 18 because it's happening at younger and younger ages. I didn't know all this until I talked to the fine folks there at Montgomery Men's Health. So there at Montgomery Men's Health, those providers will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have treatments for low T that can truly change your life. Most men can experience higher energy, better gains at the gym. What was that?
Brother.
Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns. You might even notice a faster metabolism or a higher sex drive.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Joey.
There's a lot right with it. You can actually book on the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing. Hit your goals this year. Call Montgomery Men's Health at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to montgomerymenshealth.com to book your appointment today. And be sure to tell them that you heard about him here, that Joey and Eddie guy on the radio said some stuff and sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey there, River Region area. Dawson Electric hopes you had an amazing Christmas and a fantastic New Year. As we step into 2024, it's time to tackle those resolutions and make sure your home or business is in tip-top shape. And for all your electrical needs, there's one name you can trust, Dawson Electric. Whether you're planning a remodel, constructing a new home, or require service for your existing electrical systems, Dawson Electric has got you covered. Need emergency generators installed? Looking to enhance your outdoor space with stunning landscape lighting? Dawson Electric is the answer. We do it all for homes and commercial spaces alike. For more information, you can find us on Facebook. Search for Dawson Electric Company, LLC. Hit the like button and stay connected with us. We're happy to speak with you at any time. Just call 334-270-8024. Say it with me. That's 334-270-8024. For all your electrical service needs for home or business, call us at Dawson Electric. Dawson Electric, lighting up your world.
I'm with Miss Dot at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, and Dot, we're ready to roll into a new year.
Happy New Year.
Well, tell me what's going on here at Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall.
The booths are being restocked. The hot cider is going. The rocking chairs are here, and there are great sales going on in some of the booths. Really and truly, there's some neat stuff around here. You need to come in and see it.
Shouldn't people plan to come maybe spend some time and find all the treasures here at Eastbrook?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got some that come in and spend their lunch hour, and they bring their lunch and eat as they shop around, and which is fine with me. But then some come and spend the whole day, and I just love that.
Do you have any events coming up soon?
Anniversary sale will be here in February. Don't know the exact date yet, but listen for the ad. Come shop that day because it'll be a great event.
All right, Dot, give us the hours of operation.
Monday through Friday, 10 until 6. Saturday, 9 until 6. Sunday is 12:30 to 4:30.
That's the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, 425 Coliseum Boulevard.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
News and views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. And that's the number that James called. Let's go right to James. Hello, sir.
Joey, how are you today, man?
Fantastic.
Good. Would you allow me to state the obvious?
That's what we do here.
I am hot,
Okay.
I know.
That wasn't it, and I haven't seen pictures, but believe me, I find no interest.
No, way to break
I
my
mean, not nothing personal, okay? I mean, it's a gender thing.
It's one
You
way to
guys
treat people.
you're at least 3 characters. Is that right, Joey?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let's pretend we're listening to the radio. Can we do that?
Sure.
All right. If you take that little round knob, and that's what I have on my solid state radio, I can see it from here. If you turn it and you go down to, let's just say, another network.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it BIN.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever listened to BIN?
Not much.
Well, it's a tough listen.
Mm.
But see, when you and I talk about taking back the country, we understand on some level what we mean. But the issue is you 3 guys and myself and whoever else is listening, most of us agree with what we mean by taking back the country. But for each one of us that is sitting here in our kitchen trying to decide if we want to mop the floor a little better than we just did, for each one that agrees with our point of view, there's somebody out there that's making bank off the condition this country is in presently. Henceforth, they're not interested in us taking back the country. Am I making sense?
Yeah, and I think some of it might be a reframe of taking back the country. I'd imagine the true victory that you have is you have to push through and get almost a Reagan style or how Nixon won at one point, and it won't be the exact same, say, demographics as when Nixon and Reagan won. But I think there's a way to push through to people to point out that there are some manipulators and predators that are doing you wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And it becomes more obvious by the day.
That is also true. But when you bring up Nixon, he's part and parcel in those that followed his agenda or the agenda that he was following that was pushed through or suggested to him by others. He is why we're in China. And in other words, why our jobs are in China and our money's in China and the political influence that we used to have globally
Right.
now belongs to the Chinese.
Well, they've definitely become the factory of the world. Well, here's maybe a better example, because people forget that when FDR runs against Herbert Hoover, the Democrats, if you look at their platform, are the conservative party still. And he runs as a conservative. He says Hoover's too big government, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then he becomes so popular that go read his inaugural, where he calls for complete executive authority if the Congress won't do what he wants. To meet this emergency, I'm like a general leading a mobilized army.
Does that sound familiar?
A little bit.
And the social agenda that was pushed through. And, of course, there are those economists that believe that his programs actually extended the Great Depression as opposed to helping pull this country and the world out of it.
Exactly right.
Of course, I'm not as well-read as some, Joey. Tell me this, speaking of being well-read, have you seen The Creature from Jekyll Island?
I know of it. I admit I haven't read the whole book. I haven't sat down and done the deep dive, but I'm aware of what you're talking about.
Okay. It's a book that I just began. A human being loaned it to me. I mean, it's 606 pages, including the index.
Right.
I think I should be flattered that he actually thought I could get through that, Joey. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Or maybe he thought you needed a doorstop.
Well, okay. All right. Joey, I appreciate the time, man, and have a nice week.
You too, James. 272-9228. Oh, look, Debbie's on the line. Hey, Debbie.
Hey, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Well, I just wanted to put in my 2 cents, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You know how New York has had that law passed where the medical association can actually take people and put them in a quarantine with or without permission, even children. They don't have to have parents' permission, and they can just take you out of your home if they suspect that you have some illness that they're worried that it's a pandemic type thing, and no rights, absolutely no rights whatsoever. Well, now I'm hearing that WHO has made some arrangements with most of the countries in the world where they are going to be the ones to basically be the controlling factor on who gets to be quarantined, who doesn't. So how many states do you think by that time will have this set up to where they can literally basically tell whoever they think is sick? And they do not have to, according to the New York law, they do not have to prove you have it. Just suspect it.
I'll put it this way, Debbie. If the, say, globalist forces, however you want to describe that in your own mind, folks, maintain power in the United States, especially after this next year and this next election, you better be worried about those sorts of international moves that are being set up. But here's the hope. For all these international institutions, whether it's the WHO or the trade organizations or NATO or the UN, take your pick, all these IMF, the cornerstone of all these things is the U.S. If the U.S. says we don't play this game anymore, all of that would collapse. And so it's just, and this is what drives me nuts, the international liberal order has always been no more Pax Americana, like the American empire, we're going to set up institutions internationally that are in our favor. And we were the victors after World War II. Why wouldn't you do something like that? And kind of set up the world on the rules that benefit you. But now that that's sort of teetering in a very odd direction as people take over these institutions, maybe it's time for Americans to take our ball and go home and tell the UN to get out.
Well, isn't that what Trump was trying to do?
See, you brought just me, you asking me that. I've been thinking for a second about Trump. Trump makes a lot of promises. Trump says a lot of things, and he did follow through on a lot of promises, in particular moving, say, the capital of Israel, recognizing it as Jerusalem. That's one that comes to mind. But Trump also says a lot of things, and then all it is talk. And so I wonder if he gets in there again, is he actually going to be a wrecking ball against the administrative state like so many hope? Or is it just talk? Does he really want vengeance, so to speak, or is it just talk?
He has so much momentum, there'll be, whether he has a direct effect on it or not, or direct thumb in it or not. Yeah.
And does he even get there with the makeup like what we were talking earlier in the show with RFK Jr.?
Yeah, but he put people in places of power. Right. It was funny, since you brought up RFK, something he said yesterday was that Donald Trump said he wanted to drain the swamp, but he put the swamp creatures in positions of power, talking about, and he went through them. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but it is true. I mean, who had the power to appoint Anthony Fauci?
Trump.
Yeah. But I think he actually believed Fauci, and that was a sad thing. That goes to show that he can be deceived by certain people.
He can be deceived by a lot of people. And he was.
Yes,
he definitely was.
Yes, he was. And that was one that I heard when that first, Joe Rogan interview with, RFK. And so it was one of those things he explained. If you stroked his ego just right, you would get in on the, inside circle. And that's the ones that were kind of doing them no-nos, making them look bad.
Yeah.
So Trump
makes
you wonder about that.
Yeah, Trump, for all the things that he has about himself that I think are positive, he is not the best when it comes to reading and understanding people. He hasn't had a good track record of recognizing a spade as a spade. And I think that showed up repeatedly in his personal life, showed up repeatedly in his professional life, and in his political life. He put people in positions of power that were absolute dog duty, and they should not have been there.
The question now is, has he learned his lesson? There are some who attest to know him who say he has. He's admitted many times that I made all these mistakes, and I thought Washington was going to work with me more and make deals with me more. And he's now clearly realized that ain't happening. So we might get a different man in charge there. But I got to run, Debbie. I appreciate the call.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Debbie.
Again, 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the program. This part of News and Views brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and her team are ready to help you out. You still worried about those silverfish, Eddie?
Not really, because you know why? I have Pest Pro Services.
Oh, yeah.
They take care of my personal and my rental property, so no.
So you ain't worried about termites?
Not really, no.
You ain't worried about mosquitoes, fire ants?
Not really. Again, they kind of let me know.
They got it all covered.
If I do have a problem, which I've had before, they call me and let me know. They call me and let me know when they're coming, and usually I get a report right after they leave. Usually a phone call said, "Hey, this is what we found," or "Hey, we found nothing."
Wait, so you're telling me people shouldn't wait till they have like a big emergency?
Do not.
They should instead get Pest Pro on as like their everyday pest control company.
The peace of mind itself is well worth it.
Well, and they wouldn't be alone because Pest Pro's grown leaps and bounds.
Oh, heck yeah.
In the last 3-4 years. It's pretty amazing what Ashley and her team have done. And so, folks, if you're looking for just high-quality professionals that really can get the job done with the latest technology, but also great people that are always giving back to the community, that's Pest Pro Services.
Definitely.
Give them a call today, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. You can also always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that you heard about him here on the radio from Joey and Eddie. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. Flood watch continues in effect today through Saturday with additionally some excessive rainfall amounts possible. A very spring-like day, high in the middle 70s. Showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy downpours, marginal severe weather risk today. Tonight slow down to about 63. Tomorrow, another round of showers and thunderstorms, high 73. Then on Saturday, a stronger system, the final one. Locally heavy rainfall at times, level 2 severe weather risk, high 72. Cooler and drier on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At Bobo with Capital Tractor, our showrooms are buzzing with the groundbreaking innovation, power, and reliability of the #1 selling compact tractor in America. No surprise, it's a Kubota. Stop by for a test drive today. Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For many years, my team and I have worked diligently to provide our veterans with top-notch service, as it is our honor to serve those who have served us in the armed forces. Madeline and I are certified veteran lending specialists. Nationwide, there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program. Yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA home loan program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And legal troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Hey folks, this is Tammy Burkhalter at Prattville Farm Center, and did you know there's all kind of dogs that we can feed? Like sleeping dog, hot dog, creek dog, swimming dog, hunting dog, shaggy dog, lap dog, window dog, riding dog, hiding dogs, puppy dog, standing dog, hat dog, cozy dog, family dog, even a dancing dog man. So come see us at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville, and we can even feed your kitty cat too.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Already getting some calls rolling in. Try to fit people in before we have our top of the hour break here. And David is up first. Hey, David, how you doing?
David.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing, man?
Good. Hey, did you guys see anything on the news about Alex Halderman in federal court in Atlanta last Friday, demonstrating how within minutes he could hack into a Dominion voting machine and change the votes?
I did not see that.
I didn't see the details. I think I saw it in passing.
Yeah. So, demonstrated how within just a matter of mere minutes, before a federal judge, that the Dominion voting machines can be hacked and changed without anybody knowing.
Well, and I'm pulling it up now on the live stream, and this is from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Expert shows how to tamper with Georgia voting machine in security trial. Holy moly.
How about that?
Yeah. So that pretty much all these lawsuits that Dominion has against some of Trump's people, defamation lawsuits, should absolutely be thrown out of court immediately.
But isn't the discussion there less so if they can be hacked and if they were?
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think those are two big things, because again, I'll believe any conspiracy theory at first, or any theory at first. But I'd like to see the B for the most part. So saying that something can be hacked, I've yet to find something that can't be hacked.
And also,
I'd like to see if it was hacked.
And I saw in passing, again, didn't get into the details this morning, that a judge is allowing Fox News to countersue Smartmatic.
Really?
Or Dominion, so to speak. So this might be opening up. Just the Atlanta Journal-Constitution wants me to pay for their service.
Yes, they do, Joey.
Which, I can't blame them.
Sure.
Especially see what's happened to traditional journalism these days.
But you can read the whole story on the Gateway Pundit.
There's one sentence they haven't completely blacked out. So here's what happened. Halderman, for the folks who don't know, he changed the results of a hypothetical referendum on Sunday alcohol sales. He flipped the winner in a theoretical election between President George Washington and Benedict Arnold, the Revolutionary War general. Okay, thank you for telling me who Benedict Arnold is.
Yeah.
That's not important. He rigged the machine to print out as many ballots as he wanted. All he needed was a pin to reach a button inside the touchscreen, a fake $10 voter card he had programmed, or a $100 USB device that he plugged into a card connected to a printer. Wow.
Yeah, but again, it is very simple. But again, it's like, all right, when you have these people that talk about election fraud in the previous election, which, by the way, if you're asking me, I don't think that there's any way in hell that Joseph Biden got more votes than Barack Obama
Thank
did.
you.
I'm sorry, I just refuse to believe that. That being said, I have yet to see compelling evidence. Yeah, I would love to see. Okay, so you need a USB USB device plugged into the voting machine. Okay, please, for the love of God, show me where that happened. Show me where votes were flipped, because these things leave a footprint. So please show me this, so that way I can have something to back up my inherent suspicion. And that's what's annoying about these the Mike Lindell types. It's like, I just show me something. Give me something. I want to believe you. I kind of do believe you, but give me something to where I can confirm
Give me some
it.
concrete.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So have a good one, guys.
Appreciate it, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
We got to hit our top of the hour break, so Duke, hold on, because I want to give you plenty of running room, sir. And
get ready.
Some of the comedy we share with one another makes my day.
Yeah.
It really does. That's when I think that's brought America together. Seriously.
Oh, no doubt.
Like the 90s comedy, especially black comedians, is what brought folks together in a lot of ways. It sort of undressed certain stereotypes and made people laugh at themselves and each other in a way that was helpful and fun and honest.
Yeah, but then Dave Chappelle took himself seriously and quit.
What?
Remember how Dave Chappelle skits?
Oh, no, Dave Chappelle didn't want those operators, those predators and manipulators. They ain't just in politics.
It's all the amount of money that man walked away from. So
Yeah.
you know.
Something was up.
Something was up. Right.
Like, did somebody want to feel him up or what? I swear, I think Cat Williams was telling the God-honest truth recently.
There's some weirdness going on in that world, man.
Because Terry Crews, I was thinking America's Got Talent ads are all back because I guess the new season's back, and I thought of that. I'm like, Terry Crews was molested and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, think about what, like Martin Lawrence. What happened to him when he was on the top of his game? The next thing you know, he's running down the street.
He was
naked.
dehydrated. Remember the story? He was dehydrated.
I've been dehydrated before.
Right.
I wasn't running
Never
down the
had
street saying they're trying to kill me.
Right.
Now, I don't know if we can blame Richard Pryor on the upper executives. I think that's just what happens when you're high on crack.
Well, I think the Cat Williams thing,
set yourself on fire.
Since he's come out with that, has opened up not just in that world, but so many other people have said, you know what, I'm tired of holding on to the tea. I'm going to let the tea out too.
Yeah,
and I love it.
Especially when it's folks who are incredibly gifted at gab and can do it in an entertaining, funny way.
Yep,
they're some of the most dangerous people on earth.
And again, no one's called Cat a liar yet.
What's the old wild line? If you're going to tell people the truth, make them laugh first, or else they'll kill you.
Yeah.
I think that holds up to scrutiny. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Former President Trump's lawyers are beginning their defense in a New York courtroom after attorneys for advice columnist E. Jean Carroll finished presenting their case. Carroll seeking over $10 million in defamation damages for his comments after she accused him of sexual assault. The Washington State Attorney General has announced a $149.5 million settlement agreement with drug maker Johnson & Johnson. That's after the state sued the company over its role in the opioid addiction crisis. Republicans who control the Wisconsin State Assembly are set to pass a bill that would call for a binding statewide referendum to ban abortion after 14 weeks of pregnancy. The Dow had 36 points and the NASDAQ adding 7 points. This is SRN News.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm. They want you to stay safe on the road. Please don't text and drive. Get to your destination safely. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Flood watch continues in effect today through Saturday with additionally some excessive rainfall amounts possible. A very spring-like day, high in the middle 70s. Showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy downpours, marginal severe weather risk today. Tonight slow down to about 63. Tomorrow, another round of showers and thunderstorms, high 73. Then on Saturday, a stronger system, the final one. Locally heavy rainfall at times, level 2 severe weather risk, high 72. Cooler and drier on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE Credit Union makes auto loans easy with rates as low as 4.75% APR. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The U.S. Supreme Court rejected Kenneth Eugene Smith's request for a stay of execution Wednesday. Smith's lawyers had argued it would be unconstitutional for the state to attempt a second execution after a failed lethal injection in 2022. Smith is to be executed tonight at Holman Correctional Facility in Atmore. The chief of a volunteer fire department in Covington County has been arrested and fired from his position. Jared Watson has been charged with first-degree theft of property after the sheriff's office determined that Watson misappropriated or stole money from the Libertyville Volunteer Fire Department on several occasions. The Make-A-Wish Foundation has granted the wish of a Reeltown High School student. 16-year-old Melody Jackson chose to give her high school marching band new uniforms. Melody has been fighting a rare terminal cancer, and doctors say she hasn't long to live. Reeltown High School held a surprise graduation ceremony for Melody on Tuesday. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Love is in the air and on the boat. The Harriet II riverboat, that is. Bring your special someone for a romantic evening and experience the elegance of cruising the Alabama River. Enjoy a delicious dinner while taking in the stunning sights. Dance the night away to the tunes that touch your soul, or just sit back and relax. Roses and champagne complete your lover's evening. You have 4 nights to choose from, February 14th, 15th, 16th, or 17th. Book your Valentine's cruise at funinmontgomery.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Oh no, I guess the trial to release Fannie Willis's visits to the White House is ongoing. Politics is just so dirty, folks. It's just so dirty.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you're going to go after President Trump in that way? Well, we're going to look up how you were summoning the beast with 2 backs with the guy you appointed to prosecute Trump. And how it was coordinated by the Biden DOJ. It's a conspiracy, man.
What do you mention next? Vacations that they went on together? Is that how they planned the case? I mean, they released the receipts.
Well, and you know Trump loves this thread. How much mileage did he get out of Lisa Page and Peter Strzok?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lisa. Oh, Peter.
Forgot all about that.
We're going to get him. Oh, Lisa.
Let's go to Duke. Hey, Duke.
What's happening, Duke?
If he's so bad and everything, why is he so scared of Nikki?
How's he scared?
Yeah, want her to go away.
He wants her to go away because she's annoying.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, shut up, Mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever. But anyway, right before I called in, I heard you guys going on and on talking about Trump put the wrong people around him.
Yep.
The wrong people.
He did.
See, you know, poor little Donald from Queens put the wrong people around. No, he did not. He selected some of these folks. Elected and selected and elected and all the above, some of these folks. Because there's one cat who wanted to put on the Supreme Court that never practiced a case before. And everybody shot that one down, even his own people. So, you know, don't y'all sit here but
like we're literally saying he made wrong choices.
Yeah. He ain't made no. Well, go ahead.
Well, no.
Wait, are you saying he always makes the right decision?
No, the way y'all was saying it, like.
No, we were saying he made mistakes. He made wrong choices.
Picking the wrong people is a bad decision.
Right.
That's a bad
Everybody
decision.
made wrong choices, but you guys.
How? No, hold on. Pause button. How is it in the one time we're sitting here criticizing Donald Trump, you call up and act like we were praising him? Come on, man.
you are on your own little bit of waiting, mister. Back to Reno.
Duke, is that, excuse me, is that breast milk I smell through the phone?
Hey, Don, how you doing, bro? Don, I want to talk to you. I'm going to talk about your boy in a few minutes, Miss Don. You sit back and listen, sir. This Tim Scott boy.
Tim Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, this boy right here, Lord have mercy.
Nah, he's kind of a grown man.
I-
Don't go him
I
aboard.
kinda-
Yeah, he's getting married.
I heard you yesterday evening when I couldn't get to the phone, but I heard you yesterday evening and mention something about him, and I had to see it for myself, man. And
Yeah.
boy,
Oh, so you heard me say I think Duke might have been right.
I ain't never seen nothing like it in my life, boy.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
my.
Like you ain't never seen that
I
kind
ain't
of
never seen
schmoozing
it.
before. Come
I
on,
ain't never
Duke,
seen nothing
right?
like it in my life.
Come on.
I never thought I'd see it. I seen it on Roots and all these different shows, these slave shows.
Come on.
I saw it all on there.
Give me a
But
break.
in real life, I never thought I'd see this. This guy talking about, yes, master. I love you, master. Oh, yes, master. Whatsoever you want me to do. I couldn't believe I'm hearing this in 2024.
I don't know if it's
Are you saying he's an Uncle Tom, Duke?
Hey, Uncle Tom been there right there. He's some other uncle, something about it. Somebody else's uncle, but not Tom.
He couldn't just like Trump because he agrees with his policies and thinks he's a good person.
I'll send you a $100 Amazon card right now if you can tell me who wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin.
He said, I love you.
Yeah, he did. Because Trump said something to the effect of like,
You know, Nikki even appointed you, Tim, and you're not supporting her. You're supporting me. You must really hate her.
and Tim Scott jumps in front of the mic and goes, I just love you so much. And
oh wow,
that's what I'm saying. See, he's such a weak man where he couldn't.
Maybe he's a little
respond to that
starstruck.
in your way.
Hey, I love Joey. Does that make me a weak man?
Beta.
I want to see you. I want to see you. I want to observe you like I saw what I saw. Now, and then I make up my opinion after that, sir. How about that?
No, that's fair.
Okay. But I'm lost for words about this cat right here. I know people gonna say, "Oh, cause he's a Republican." No, he's not. He's. I don't know what he is. All the other cats understand. Trump ain't studying none of y'all. Mess up. See what happens to you. He gonna let you go. He gonna talk about you like he did. What's this boy from Alabama name? What's the guy
Mo
name?
Brooks.
Attorney General.
Oh,
Attorney General. There's so many of them, but Attorney General guy. What's his name?
Sessions.
Yeah. I want you to say it for me. Yeah. He all up in Trump boot hole. He's all up in Trump boot hole like the rest of them.
Well, that's just gross.
That's just crap.
Come on,
naughty,
man.
naughty language, Duke.
Come on,
That's
dude.
what I saw with this boy, that Scott boy the other day. He had his mouth wide open over teeth showing and everything.
And you know, Duke, to your
Yeah.
point, I actually think Trump responds to strength and winner, especially when people beat him, a lot better than he does like folks sucking up to him. He'll take both. Don't get me wrong.
And y'all know Trump ate that up with a big old spoon. Y'all know
Right.
Trump love it. Trump even bagged up. Damn, so this boy, oh man, you get too close, boy.
Now, Duke, you mentioned that you hadn't seen something like that since Roots, and you reminded me of something. Isn't it who plays Kunta Kinte in Roots?
So what now?
Who plays LeVar Burton?
LeVar,
Right?
yes.
Yeah.
Reading Rainbow.
Yeah, Geordie LaForge. Yeah.
Reading Rainbow.
Well, Henry Louis Gates, the historian, the police acted stupidly when he was locked in. That kind of was stupid,
Yeah.
honestly, looking back on it. But he does this show, Finding Your Roots,
Oh,
where he
I saw
looks through
this.
his folks' ancestry.
Yep.
And he just did an episode with LeVar Burton.
He sure did.
And this is kind of what happened.
That's him. You are looking at your great-great-grandfather, James Henry Dixon. It's difficult to make out, but that is your biological great-great-grandfather.
Now, I'd have fought you 5 minutes ago if you told me that I had a white great-great-grandfather.
You do. You can fight me, but it's the truth. And ain't nothing you can do about it.
What? Kunta got white ancestry.
That's right.
What?
Yeah.
Come on now, Skip.
You took 2 DNA tests. The 2 major commercial DNA tests almost never have tested an African American who was 100% sub-Saharan African.
Wow.
We all have white ancestry.
But this is close.
That's right, but this is close, and by name.
And I believe also this guy was a Confederate soldier. So
Yeah,
if
story
LeVar
goes
Burton is
on.
really taken aback in this moment.
But hell, Joe, I might be kidding to Trump. See, y'all seen. Well,
You never know, Duke.
You know,
You never
and,
know.
see, but my dad's dad is white dude. See, and that's the reason I'm a little sad, I guess. You know, because I ain't gonna be like that old real dark boy that I.
Oh goodness, great! What is like?
Oh boy.
Seriously, why are you causing such a ruckus right now?
Oh, he deserves what I'm giving him right now because he make men look bad. Period. I don't care what color they are. He make them men look bad.
Well,
you know.
Also, Duke, this isn't unique to Tim Scott. This is how politics works. Whoever's got the biggest stick, let's say, everybody wants to be their friend. The chief in charge gets a lot of that.
Though. But you know.
Yeah, you could be a man, or do you want to get paid? Do you want to climb the ladder some more? People make those choices all the time.
Slobbering over another man, just respect him, say, hey, start shaking his hand and squeeze his hand a little bit. Y'all let him know you firm, you a man too. And you stand on your side and answer the question. Say, hey, you know, I went this way because this and that. Don't sit there and smile like old possum up there, then run on the other side. I just love you so much. Oh, man, get off the TV. Gee.
Well, as always, Duke, I appreciate the call.
All right.
Thank you, sir. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. They're ready to help you with any of your emergency plumbing problems, especially a burst pipe that might have happened recently with what happened with all these cold fronts running through. Now it's like 60-something degrees outside. It's absolutely crazy. But if you do have a burst pipe, inside or outside your home, Cole Plumbing has this proprietary pipelining technology that allows them with minimal discomfort to you and your home to get in there and solve the problem. That means they're not going to have to tear out a bunch of drywall inside your home, dig up a huge hole or trench in your yard. They can solve that issue with precision and expertise. They can also help you with all sorts of everyday plumbing issues, from low water pressure to a clogged drain, maybe even a tree root invasion if you've been on the same property. Those trees get taller, those root networks tend to get deeper and wider.
Yes, they do, Joey.
Or it could be you got a gas line leak, or your sump pump in the basement ain't working. Or it could be you just want to upgrade to a tankless water heater system or install a taller toilet as you're getting up there in age.
It's very more comfortable. A lot
They
more
can
comfortable.
help you with all of that there at Cole Plumbing. So give them a call today. That's 279-8919, 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
What did you think? Like, LeVar Burton was about to fall out of his chair.
Did you see the one on Hagar? Sammy Hagar.
Sammy
It's not
Hagar.
really a Hagar.
What is he?
Belcher. Bob Belcher. Yes. He's a Belcher. Freaked him out, too. He is not a Hagar.
Wow.
Yep.
I do wonder. Maybe I should go get one of those tests. And
I
know,
want to, but
Yeah, we're going to give our DNA to
Right.
BlackRock.
But they already got it.
They already got it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so
the
torn
amount
with
you and I sweat.
I'm so torn on that because I do want to know, because there's a lot of questions in my background. But I don't even, and on top of that, I don't know if I can trust it. How do I know there's just not some dude checking boxes and collecting a check and sending it back to me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, do you think you would have a Neanderthal?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Forehead. Look at this forehead. Can't tell me that's not some
Oh, it's just German. Maybe you're Viking. I don't know.
Yeah, something. Something for sure.
Yeah, but definitely Polish.
Yeah.
But I do want, there's all sorts of, it starts to get real blurry with, my dad is clearly from England, and, you know, the Scotch-Irish thing also going on. But on my mom's side, it's Polish, but it goes way back. I think we actually have ancestors that came in the 1600s to New Amsterdam.
I know, of course, it's going to be mostly European, but I want to know the percentage. I know I'm a Heinz 57, but I want to know some percentages.
Yeah, I
really
would,
do.
because I really am a mutt. I would like to know.
Me too. And then I would like to be able to look at some of the things and say, oh, wow, I see where I get that from. I'm not just crazy.
Think you got any black in you?
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, me too.
I like catfish with mustard on it.
That's just stereotype.
No, it's not. Several of my friends I work with at Hyundai, they used to laugh at me and tell me that I was the blackest, whitest person they knew.
Because you ate your catfish with mustard?
I had lots of tendencies.
That's just common sense.
I had lots of tendencies. Except for cheese on a donut. I'm not a fan of that. A lot of them were.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the glazed donuts with cheese on it. I find it to be quite disgusting.
Oh, I found good news for you before we hit this break.
Oh, yeah?
It just broke this morning.
What's that?
There's a new study out. Say that again. New study. Oreo cookies lower LDL cholesterol more than statins.
That's typical not good news for Eddie. I'm not a fan of Oreos.
You don't like Oreos?
Probably one of my least favorite. I mean, I'll eat them.
Oh, even better news. High LDL cholesterol no longer associated with heart disease.
Dad, don't do nothing for me. The doctor always says you got a healthy heart. It's your gut that's killing you.
Oh, your gut. You need to get them probiotics, man.
No, not that. It's the weight of the gut that's killing
Oh,
you.
yeah, I'm going through that too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Suzanne and I both get physicals, and then we compare numbers, and my numbers are better every year.
Now, sticking on the family tree thing, I was talking to my grandfather about this last night, and maybe it's me just getting older. I'm not old, but turning 35, you start to notice, and I started noticing last year, there's certain aspects of me I really can't control that I'm kind of destined to become. Some is like, it could be as simple as my dad and his dad got older, there are these little, it's not attractive, like white, like warts that are harmless that start to grow on the top of our hand.
Yeah. Yep.
And like, I don't have them prominent yet, but they're little ones. You can start to see them showing up. It's like, that's inevitable.
That's okay.
It's genetic, so to speak. But it's more than that. I think it's personality.
I think so too.
So do you think, what I'm getting at is, do you think you're a chip off the old block of somebody possibly, if you could get an exact family tree of everybody who was before you, I bet you would find some great uncle or even great aunt or grandmother, like you're the spitting image, not just looks, but personality wise of somebody.
Yeah, I think I get my grandfather's temper, no doubt. I used to not think that, but watching my mother as she's aged too, we both have a temper. And I, of course, would never admit it, but those around me said, "Oh, you got that from somebody."
I don't have a temper. Yeah, I got a little
but
bit.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely. And I got great hair. My grandfather, he passed away. I think it was early '90s. He still had great hair, so that's one thing I don't have to worry about. I'm not going to go bald.
But you also got to wonder, like, temperament.
I'm horrible there. Patience is what I pray for. More patience, because I don't have a whole lot. What about you?
Yeah, there's definitely people in the family that I relate to more than others on particular aspects. Like one of my uncles, well, I'm a mix though. You start to notice what you're a mix of your parents.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's good and bad. Like I think it's kind of a bad thing though. It propels you to do more. And I get this definitely from my mother, is nothing's ever good enough. Yeah. Like even when you do a good job or you should be happy, no, it's never, everything's always disappointing.
Well, a lot of times with Susanna, I see more of her aunt in her than her own mom. And it cracks me up because, again, I see those traits very similar.
And then from my dad, and this is just the Clark side, it's like, what do you want to do this afternoon? It's like, after working, I want to eat something and fall asleep and snore. Thank you very much.
After working?
Is that allowed? No, but what I'm driving at is like, if I get absorbed in like writing or making music or something,
right?
This is very much my dad. I will not stop. I can't pay attention and focus on anything else, and I'll do it for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I'll get the work done. That's why I think I ran towards radio, because it's something different for the most part every day.
I feel like a taskmaster. You put that task in front of you, you've got to get it complete before you move on.
Well, and also I can't shut it off. So I'll get done writing an article and I'll just still be thinking about it. Even though it's done, I need to just put it down.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I've learned that I need to focus, and I do focus on work sometimes, and then I just like to relax. That's clearly from my father.
Yeah.
And, I talked about it last year. My granddaddy, as he got older especially, he would crack himself up before he could even tell the damn joke. And that's happening to me more and more.
That's good.
Where I think of a thing, and it just makes it's funny to me. And
you've got a good sense of humor.
And people are like, why are you sitting over there giggling like a schoolboy? Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, but when you explain it to them and they don't laugh, you go,
Yeah.
I've done that many times. And
yeah. Here, let's see if this is on line one. You're on the air. Who's this?
It's Papa B.
Hey, Papa B. What's happening, brother?
Oh, man, I'm out in the rain.
Oh, boy.
An old sales manager of mine, Andy, said, duck, snake, buck.
That's right.
Meaning that you got to work in the rain if you're going to be in business sometimes. And that's,
oh, yeah. If you want to be successful.
Yeah, you just got to go ahead and deal with it. So anyway, out in the rain. I want to talk about this Terry Lake thing, but I've been trying to think, who's the new Speaker of the House? What's his name?
Mike Johnson.
Mike, yeah, okay.
Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Speaker Johnson. Okay. Yeah, this reminds me of somebody, and I've been racking my brains, and I finally realized who it was. You remember the movie A Christmas Story? That little guy with the glasses, you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dead ringer, man. He's whatever his name was, shoot your eye out, kid guy.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, man. I mean, tell you, the traits are remarkable. But anyway, now about this Kari Lake situation. So, who was it that tried to bribe her? What was his station in government?
Wasn't he? He was something in the Republican Party there, but I know now he has stepped down, and it's her fault. He blamed her for that too, because she was deceitful.
Chairman DeWitt, I believe is his name.
Chairman of the Republican
Like
Party.
John DeWitt, I think, something like that.
Okay. Well, so there's just a couple of observations, and it's clear for everybody to see, but it's worth talking about. The first thing is, it was a Republican that tried to bribe her. I've been saying for years, the Democrats we have trouble with, but our real trouble comes from within our own party. I found that very interesting, okay, and revealing. Another thing is, he mentions, it's from somebody out east. It's powerful people out east, I think is what he said. Well, we didn't get to delve into that yet. I doubt if it'll ever be known, actually. But is he talking about Richmond, north of Richmond type folks? I presume so.
I think so, yeah.
And so, he had in that conversation, though, I've said, that the way people that are corrupt work is they work through bribery, they work through extortion, and they work through threats of violence, and then actual violence if nothing else works. Okay, so you had bribery, that was clear, all right. But I believe
I think we lost him.
Career.
Oh, there you go.
And how that is extortion. Okay.
Right.
And then he said something about the cartels being active in every state, 50 states. Well, if that's not a threat of violence, it's, worth noting that he put it in there. And why would he say something like that, otherwise? So we had all three corrupt practices there in one, package. And would anything be done about it? Would the Department of Justice run down there and do something about that? What do you think, Joey? Eddie?
I think it's going to be a bit of a stalemate and a standoff for a while here. Honestly, Biden going that route, I think, ruins his popularity even more and the legitimacy even more.
Yeah.
It's classic Machiavelli that if you want to be the lion or the fox, if you're a prince, if you're a leader.
Right.
And, the lion is the one who's more violent, beastly, like you can win in combat, like you have these martial skills, whereas the fox is deception. And our society, I think, for the better, doesn't rely as much on martial violence. It relies on deception. And the reason that they don't want to go violence is because it's very costly to the regime. People that, normally are like, well, for instance, Liberace's not gay. Well, if you see Liberace hooking up with some dude out in public, it's kind of hard to deny it. And so when you say the government's not violent and then you see them shooting fellow Americans, you're like, oh, well, maybe it is. So sometimes it's very costly. It makes it plain as day to even the most oblivious.
I think so. As if it really needs to be made plain, but at least now they can't. Gaslighting really doesn't work on obvious on something as obvious as that. Although they would try, and this guy has. That was Kari Lake's fault. What? Dude, you tried to bribe her. Yeah. It's your fault. It's nobody
it's her
else's.
fault.
But anyway, so I just find a few things interesting, and I also wonder how many more times that kind of thing has happened.
I think it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Again, to my point, I don't think violence is very acceptable in our society, especially official government, unless we do it overseas where we're not paying attention. I think the name of the game is bribery, extortion, just deception, lying, reputation destruction. It's actually, we're turning into kind of women, and like guys bully each other by hitting each other. How do girls bully one another in school? Yeah, reputational destruction. So I guess we have more feminine men running things along with the women these days.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Raffensperger kind of comes to mind, just off the top of my mind. Somebody that can overlook, all of the clear problems and fraud and sit there and just, I don't see anything. Well, bribery, extortion, threats of violence. I think it probably was a combination of at least two. But we'll find out in the fullness of time, as my friend Dan Morris has always said.
That's right.
Amen.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for letting me get on the air and talk about things.
Appreciate it, Papa B.
I think that the bribery is where it starts.
Yeah.
Violence is where it ends.
Well, but I don't think these folks even have to say things outright. Like, listen to that tape that was leaked again. Everything's implied. People don't have to say the words out loud. Everybody is wise to the game. And it's kind of like if somebody does say something out loud, it's like, damn it, be cool, man. Like, that's why Blagojevich goes to prison. Yeah. This is effing thing I got's golden. It's like the Senate seat you're supposed to appoint, you're putting it up for auction.
Yep.
See, even the most diehard players don't like it when it's too ham-handed and obvious. But yeah, the folks who do play the game well, they never have to say anything. So there's always plausible deniability. I was just trying to offer a better life.
Like a Clinton?
Yeah. Let's go to Jerry Lee. Hey, Jerry Lee.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Doing all right. How are you?
About 80%. I was listening to Eddie a few moments ago talking about how he lacks patience. And I'm a brother of his in that regard. I get frustrated very easily, but I saw this thing the other day spouted by God in the form of Morgan Freeman that I thought really applied, and I've tried to use it. He was talking to a young lady, and God said to her, he says, you're praying for patience. Maybe God just gives you situations where you can learn to be patient. And I think that's so true.
Sending them my way, I can tell you that.
The hardship and the obstacle is the way, is the opportunity. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, well, he said the same thing about courage. You pray for courage, but maybe God just puts you in situations where you can be courageous,
That's true.
I really like that.
That's very true.
Speaking of one more point about you talking about this last caller and bribery and corruption, I remember I used to be an intelligence analyst in Washington, and Asia was my precinct. But I remember the Philippines and Fernando Marcos, who's probably one of the most corrupt people in the world. And the people let him get away with it for a long time, but then he kind of overstepped and they threw his butt out of office,
I do remember
that. So you can only take it so far, like you say, and people are going to say, no mas,
Exactly. Especially when folks are just saying outright, I don't believe y'all anymore.
Yeah.
I don't trust you anymore. And that's a big change right there.
No doubt.
I'm 80 years old, and I'm to the point where I just don't believe word coming out of any politician's mouth anymore, and that is really sad.
Unfortunately, that is the way it is.
Sad.
Well, I appreciate the call, Jerry. Really do.
Okay, y'all have a good day.
You too. Thank you, Jerry.
We got to hit our break here, and we'll come back to Jeff Deist, who's joining us on the airwaves. Look forward to always chatting with Jeff. First, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And, man, they have an amazing selection over there.
Always do, Joey.
High-end jewelry to stuff that's like that everyday jewelry. Looks great, but it doesn't break the bank. It's not the end of the world. Maybe you lose it or get a little messed up. But you still want to, have jewelry.
You want to have some bling, baby.
When you're out and about enjoying yourself.
That's right.
Also have a great watch selection for men and women. Really cool stuff. And then when you start getting into everything else they can do, they don't just sell jewelry. They can repair jewelry.
Yep.
They can give appraisals. They can do spa treatments or cleanings. They can reset stones. They can even do full-on, from scratch, wholesale, custom design. Josh Ryder there at Dillon Rings is a true artist. So say if Eddie and I wanted Funky Fresh medallions for our upcoming rap album, it's kind of a throwback to the 80s. He could do that.
Oh, definitely could. In fact, I think he's kind of teased us with the fact that he knows we know he could.
Mm-hmm.
Might just do that one day, Joey.
Or it could be something a little more, adult and mature, like you're wanting to commemorate somebody in jewelry, or maybe you're popping the big question and what a customized engagement.
That's a really good idea.
And don't forget, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, gentlemen.
Coming up.
So they're at Dillon Rings. They have all sorts of great sales. Go check it out today. I believe they're out of the store today through Monday.
Right.
But you can always go to DillonRings.com or just search on Instagram or the Book of Faces for Dillon Rings to see their latest items and sales they have going on leading up to Valentine's Day. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. Jeff Deist on the other side of the break.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hey, Montgomery drivers, why aren't you driving a new Toyota yet? Drive the Best for Less event at Toyota Montgomery, where we make it easy to drive the best, safest, and most reliable cars on the road. Come in today and drive the best, like the new 2024 Toyota Camry LE, now only $299 a month. Or take over the road in the best-selling new 2024 RAV4 LE. It's only $349 a month. And Toyota Montgomery makes it easy to upgrade your old vehicle by giving you more for your trade. So, what are you waiting on, Montgomery? Drive the Best for Less before these offers end on January 31st. At Toyota Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
Camry MSRP $30,950. RAV4 MSRP $28,214. 12,000 miles per year. 39 month leases. 3638 to its signing. $0 security deposit with proof credit. Plus tax, tag, title, and $995 doc fee.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC. Well, hi, everybody. Flood watch continues in effect today through Saturday, with additionally some excessive rainfall amounts possible. A very spring-like day, high in the middle 70s. Showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy downpours, marginal severe weather risk today. Tonight slow down to about 63. Tomorrow, another round of showers and thunderstorms, high 73. Then on Saturday, a stronger system, the final one. Locally heavy rainfall at times, level 2 severe weather risk, high 72. Cooler and drier on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon. I'm Joey. We got Eddie in the house. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good, man.
And Craig Monger's still here, but he's
Yeah,
somewhere in the
out there
building.
taking an important call.
He's doing some business, but I'm very happy to have on the line here. We have Jeff Deist. He is the general counsel there at Monetary Metals, formerly staff and chief of staff for Ron Paul. And that's Congressman Dr. Ron Paul. And even has bylines at 1819 News, Fox News, The Hill, Roll Call, Zero Hedge, Intellectual Takeout, and former president of the Mises Institute there in Auburn. Jeff, how are you this afternoon?
Joey, good afternoon. I'm doing great.
Great to hear from you. Now, you might have heard while you're on hold, I think I was stealing one of your lines where, all these folks come out and go, why don't Americans trust institutions anymore? We just don't believe them anymore. Isn't that kind of a great way to describe the zeitgeist we're in?
Well, it's interesting. Your previous caller right before the break brought up Imelda Marcos and the level of corruption it took before people in the Philippines finally got so fed up. And I think there's just something about human nature. I think that we can see this in Argentina with Malay, and I think it's starting to feel that way in the United States. In other words, people can't pay their bills. People are having difficulties financially. And so institutions, we can grumble about them and grumble about politicians, and we can grumble about the Ivy League professors, being race obsessed or whatever, but we don't really do anything to it about it unless and until it feels like our own lives and our own finances are coming unraveled. So I hope we haven't reached that stage here, but I do think that there is something about human nature that we'll go along with a lot from our elites and from our leaders and from our politicians. We'll put up with a lot, but maybe we're reaching that limit.
And one thing that it's interesting to point out how it doesn't have to be this way. I saw you sharing on the X platform the other day. I believe it was a clip of Saifedean Ammous. So still, folks, if you haven't read Just the Bitcoin Standard, you should. Amazing book. It'll get you up to speed not only on Bitcoin, but I think sound economics. But people are, living in this world and have for a generation or two now, Jeff, where to hold on to money over time, you have to constantly invest. And instead of being able to save, it wasn't always this way, and it doesn't have to be this way, right?
No, it was not always this way. I can actually recall my grandparents paying off their mortgage when I was very, very little and having a little ceremony back then. You had a physical piece of paper from the bank and you burned it.
Mm-hmm.
You burned the mortgage. And later, my grandfather told my dad, this is getting 70s, and he said, that was stupid. I should have just paid as little as that mortgage and put it in the thing. Tried to invest because inflation, made it so that that debt was such a big deal after all. So it's very unusual when we can't expect average people who don't want to spend their whole life, don't have the time and energy to spend their whole life studying stock markets or investments or being financially, savvy to not just save money, to say, that's not enough. It's not enough to simply go out and work hard and earn a paycheck a little beach. You also have to now go out.
We have this. Honestly, there's something going on with our connection here. Is there any way I'd hang up, you call right back, Jeff?
Sure.
All right, let's try this again. Again, Jeff Deist there. I want to have a clear connection because I always enjoy my conversations with him there. And, it's fascinating the times we live in, how it's amazing what human beings can adapt to. It's amazing what people get used to in this world. It really is frustrating how much people will accept when some of you know better, that things used to be better. Some of you know that indeed. And yet the government keeps telling us everything is fine. Everything is fine and dandy. Don't worry your pretty little heads. We're the experts. We've got this under control. And if you complain, it just means you're probably ignorant or bigoted or something like that. Well, I think folks are tired of being told that don't believe your lying eyes. I think people believe the evidence of their eyes, and it's really frustrating to folks. It's why folks are lacking that trust. I think we have Jeff back here. And what I was just saying, Jeff, isn't it amazing how quickly human beings adapt? and maybe even for the worse, to where I'd imagine there are folks, say, in the Soviet Union are like, well, this is fine. I'm still getting ahead. I still have status. Like, I'm still surviving. Why are you complaining, all you kulaks out there?
Yeah, it's true. We do adjust. And it's part of human nature. But it feels like something significant is shifting in the United States. I think most Americans would agree with that, whether they're on the left or the right. And at some point, I think we're going to have to wrestle this inflation beast to the ground. Neither party, politicians, central bankers aren't going to be able to get away saying, oh, this is transitory and everything's fine. And actually, compared to your grandparents' houses, are cheaper, or this or that. Everybody knows that this is unsustainable, especially when it comes to rent and housing and food. I mean, really basic commodities, in fact, for human beings. So something's going to have to change, and I think that the political theater that I suppose Biden versus Trump part 2, 2024 is going to be consumed by. That's not going to be an economic conversation.
Sadly, yeah, I think it's going to be a so-called values identity conversation, for better or for worse. You mentioned this guy a second ago, Javier Milei. What did you think? Just we haven't talked since then on the airwaves of his speech at the World Economic Forum of all places.
Yeah, I think this was the year the WEF peaked. I think that it's almost like a wave that crests, has its high water mark, and then begins to recede. I think maybe that brand of globalism had its high water mark in the last 10 years. And I think largely due to popular sentiment and our ability to communicate now digitally, social media and otherwise, across the planet, I think, enough people have just come out and said, well, we're not going to put up with this. But there will always be elites. There will always be people with agendas. I don't think that's conspiratorial. That's just the way the world works, because people have self-interest. But the idea that it's going to be so out in the open and we're just going to go along with it, whether that's climate change or radical changes to how we conduct farming and diet, radical changes to how much we travel, radical changes to how many children we have, any of these things, I think the pushback is here, Joey.
Well, and for folks who are just kind of, for lack of a better word, red pill, or they're waking up, or, they're outside the cave now, whatever metaphor you want to use, people are starting to see how awful this government is. I was just seeing Dr. Drew's now, this big liberty freedom fighter, but you can tell somebody like Dr. Drew isn't as schooled in, say, economics, especially Austrian economics. People don't think, how can we organize society if we don't have all these top-down institutions we no longer trust and are dependent upon? Is there anything you could recommend to folks, whether it's a video or series or books or anything like that, for folks who want to learn more about how you can have a free society that's more based on voluntarism and also based on the market going about and organizing ourselves?
Yeah, isn't it interesting how things repeat historically? Everything we're going through in the United States today, from what we might call from the perspective of an empire that's in its twilight. All of these things have happened before: inflationism, overextending in war, having a political class that simply enriches and engorges itself off the public coffers. I mean, none of this is new. This has all happened in other societies, other times in history. So, I think sometimes we forget about history. We don't study history well enough. I mean, my children are having the advantage of going to classical education and reading, all the Greek and Greek literature and that sort of thing. So none of this is new. But if you had to pick something today, wow, there's so many books right now that just explain things beautifully. I think Seyfried Amous, the gentleman you mentioned earlier, he's got the fiat standard, which is more about how spending and inflationism affects our broader world. He's written other books about Bitcoin, but his book, The Fiat Standard, is not nearly as much about cryptocurrency. It's really a socio-political economic explanation of where we are. So I think his book is excellent. And I think you can always go back to a book like The Road to Serfdom by Friedrich Hayek, which is a really casual, fun read, that he wrote in the years right after World War II. And, in many ways, some of the threats facing the world at that time are staring us in the face again. So we want to imagine that we're in perilously new times. I would say we're in perilous times, but there's something new about them.
Now, do you think Nikki Haley, and I know you're a big fan of hers, has ever read anything like that? What do you make of this whole Nikki Haley phenomenon?
Well, yeah, that's interesting that she's able to portray herself as some sort of plucky underdog who's the only female in the race who's, facing all this sexism from the media, which is just absolute nonsense. That she grew up in the deep South of, South Carolina, and how old is she, 40, 50 years old? That's not the deep South. And that kids made fun of her because she was Indian. I don't know about that. Kids make fun of kids for all kinds of reasons, but she's not an underdog, and the proof of that is, first of all, the people of South Carolina, those racist people that she's been sent here to correct, apparently, voted for her elected her to statewide office. So how about a little bit credit there for those terrible rednecks in South Carolina? And number two, she has no constituency. She's running strictly as a vanity project. She's served on the boards of some defense contractors. She will, after this race, she will be enriched. She'll serve on more boards. She'll be celebrated and feted by, Conservative Inc. in Washington, D.C., the neoconservative wing of the GOP. Still quite strong. Don't kid yourself. And so this idea that she is somehow, the humbled underdog, that's just absolute nonsense. She's doing this strictly out of ego and avarice. I don't think she has a particularly good grasp of American history or America's role in the world. I have no idea what her reading is like, but I do know that she subscribes to a basically George W. Bush, Dick Cheney version of economics, wherein deficits don't matter. The U.S. government can create reality in places like Iraq and Afghanistan and somehow just spend the money to do it. And she's got no serious thoughts whatsoever about how to wrestle this inflation beast to the ground. And so I consider hers a vanity campaign at a time when that's really, really almost offensive, I think, to most of us.
Yeah, and Craig Monger of 1892 is in the studio. He last night went and saw RFK Jr. at the University of Alabama and said it was a pretty good turnout. He does seem to have an actual constituency, RFK Jr., and that, we think it's just the rematch between Trump and Biden, but I don't think we should sleep on RFK Jr. I know you've dealt with the man personally, right?
Yeah, I have. He's I think he's a good guy, which in and of itself in this day and age is a lot. Obviously, he's had a very charmed life. He's had a lot of foolishness. He had some serious drug addiction. He will quite readily admit to a lot of sexual affairs over his lifetime. Obviously, a lot of young ladies were interested in a Kennedy, and he had several wives, so he's quite open about all that. But apart from all that, you get the sense that he likes people, he likes America, he doesn't hate our guts, and that sounds like a not much, but in this day and age with the vitriol in politics, that's quite a lot. And so I think he's very interesting. I think if he were a little less on the, Republican side of the Israeli-Gaza conflict, he might be considered a more interesting, true third-party option. I think at this point, his rhetoric on Israel is just so typical that he's lost some of his energy as a third-party candidate. And now Vivek Ramaswamy's out. Right. RFK is a bit muted. The Libertarian Party doesn't seem to have much traction going. And now Ron DeSantis is out. So, what maybe 2 or 3 months ago looked very different now is sort of winnowing its way down to where, I really don't think Trump versus Biden 2 is something that this country can get through without a lot of real division.
Now, I think I told you I'm moderating the Alabama Libertarian Party's presidential debate coming up at the beginning of February, Chiat State Park on February the 3rd, folks. And a few confirmations, some of the larger candidates, Michael Rechtenwald, Chase Oliver, Mike Termott. I'm not sure if Hornberger will be there or not, but it should be a good cast of characters. If there was a question you'd want to ask the Libertarian candidates, is there one that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think libertarianism I mean, everyone says they're for liberty, Joey. If you go talk to the biggest, communist left-winger, they'll say, well, of course I'm for liberty. So just calling yourself a libertarian isn't enough. Everybody thinks they're for liberty. The problem is that we don't have an agreed-upon definition of liberty. I mean, you and I, Joey, would say, well, it's basically the ability to live your life as you see fit without government, without government control bothering you. But that's not at all what many Americans think liberty is. They think liberty is a positive right. It's a state of affairs where because we all pay taxes and because we have a robust government, that government makes sure you're provided with housing and food and clothing and free education and a guaranteed job and all these other things, that you're not truly free. There's no liberty if you can't pay your bills or have an apartment. So that's a very different conception of what liberty is. And let me tell you something, there's no reconciling two conceptions. That's the thing. We can talk all day long, but there's people who say you ought to be free to do what you want so long as you don't hurt other people, and there's people who say no, you have to help other people financially. Those are two very different things. So I would ask the Libertarian Party candidates, look, how do you think liberalism is going to work with illiberal people who don't believe in it?
Right.
People who are perfectly willing to lie, cheat, steal, kill to advance their political agenda, which is most of the history of the world, by the way. I mean, lying, cheating, stealing, killing is the norm, not the exception. So I just think libertarianism has run out of steam because it's failed to capture the public because it doesn't have an answer for how do we live in a liberal world with illiberal people.
Well, there you go. And I think that's a good note to end on, a sobering one at that. But if folks want to follow what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so, Jeff?
Well, I work for Monetary Metals. We're a company you can invest your precious metals in if you're so interested. You can find me on Twitter, all one word, @JeffDice.
Well, I appreciate it as always, Jeff. And we'll hopefully talk again soon here. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, Eddie. See you.
See you, buddy.
Jeff Dice, folks. Become a good friend of mine in the show. I always appreciate his time. We're running out of time here for this hour, so let's hit this break. Hopefully we'll have Michael Cohen on the other side.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of Central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
Conservative Justice Sarah Stewart has the experience to lead Alabama's courts. As a tough-on-crime judge, Sarah Stewart presided over hundreds of cases, giving tough sentences to the worst criminals. Republicans can trust Justice Sarah Stewart to defend the Constitution and protect our families. On March 5th, vote conservative Republican Sarah Stewart for Alabama Chief Justice. Paid for by Sarah Stewart Campaign, 2029B, Airport Boulevard, Mobile, Alabama, 36606.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back, folks. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking about sound. I've been messing with music and stuff, so at one of these points, I'm being an audiophile, I've got to stop by Cohen's again and pick up some, say, upgrades when it comes to my speaker system. What sort of options do you have in that regard?
Well, we have a lot of golden ear speakers, so they make small speakers that have a lot of wife appeal, up to speakers that are probably the size of you,
nice.
that have big, massive subwoofers built into them with their own amplification. We've got one set of the big golden ears that we're running with a little Sonos amplifier, a little wireless streaming amp, and they sound incredible. We also have Klipsch loudspeakers and we have their Heritage series, which is similar to the upgraded version of what we sold in the 70s and the 80s, made by Klipsch. And the Klipsch speakers kind of put you on the front row of a concert because they're all horn loaded, and they really give you that live experience.
You might have sold me on those because I love watching concerts from the days gone by, and that immersive experience is the way to go.
Yes, but they are right in your face, just like you're on the front row, and your favorite band, and they're pretty incredible.
Well, and folks can always go to thinkcohens.com to see all the options you have there. But I'd imagine the best course of action is to stop by and actually see you, get to know your team. I think because maybe somebody already knows what they want, and let's just not get in the way. But you like being able to educate customers and help them find the exact right product.
Well, I just had a guy that came into the store, and he'd been somewhere else. I don't know which store he went to, but he had a bunch of information on LEDs and OLEDs and QLEDs and this and that, and he's looking for this technology, and then you find out after you ask him a few questions that's a great technology that he's looking for, but it's not the right one for his home. It may be the right one for your home, but it's not the right one for his. And so then after we tell him why he should lean this way and look at this kind of unit, he looks at it, he understands what you're saying, because, we're not geniuses here. We have to speak simple. And, it just makes everything easier for the customer to make the right choice.
There you go, folks. They deliver confidence when you stop by there at Cohen's before and after the sale. That number is 277-8890. But again, I encourage you to stop by 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. Open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, and I believe 9 to 4 on Saturdays. Always appreciate the time, Michael. Really do.
Thank you, Joey. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, sir. Final hour of News and Views on a Thursday. Yes, some folks are confused. It's like, why are Eddie and Craig here on the same day? It's like, because they're friends, and I enjoy them being on the show. This is fun.
We're friends, Eddie. Did you hear that?
I heard that. Kind of excited by that.
Let me tell you about
I could use a new friend.
Oh, we got to tell them about our T-shirt idea.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's going to love this.
Oh, we're coming out with merch, folks.
Yeah.
Did you say T-shirt or tank top? I'm
T-shirt.
sorry.
Oh, tank top.
So tank top?
Tank top.
Oh, we can do tank tops.
Just making sure.
Summer.
Right. Hey, listen, I don't. Never mind.
No, and it's not going to be a true tank top like you're wearing right now. It's going to be an actual T-shirt that we, our own selves, cut a hole in.
Yes, while I'm in it.
Oh, right.
While you're in it. That's going to cost you a little extra. That's like the champagne room. Hey, final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The state of Alabama will attempt to put an inmate to death with nitrogen gas, a never-before-used execution method that the state claims will be humane, but critics call cruel and experimental. Kenneth Eugene Smith is scheduled to die Thursday night. Smith's attorneys have asked the U.S. Supreme Court to halt that execution. New Jersey's Democrat-led state government is considering legislation that would eliminate out-of-pocket costs for abortion. Even though Democrats control state government, the bill's prospects are still unknown. Lawmakers will want to consider the cost and how it would be funded. Stocks are mixed. The Dow is down 73 points, but the NASDAQ is up 23. This is SRN News.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-320-7171. That's 800-320-7171. 800-320-7171.
Weather is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Your health and well-being can quickly be impacted by changing weather. The Johnny Adams Law Firm wants you to remain safe and be weather alert with the Rich Thomas Weather Network.
Well, hi, everybody. Flood watch continues in effect today through Saturday with additionally some excessive rainfall amounts possible. A very spring-like day, high in the middle 70s. Showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy downpours, marginal severe weather risk today. Tonight slow down to about 63. Tomorrow, another round of showers and thunderstorms, high 73. Then on Saturday, a stronger system, the final one. Locally heavy rainfall at times, level 2 severe weather risk, high 72. Cooler and drier on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
1819 News.
A debate was held last night between two Republicans, and it's now available on video on the 1819 News website. The debate was held in Daphne between Congressman Barry Moore and Jerry Carl. Both congressmen are now vying to be the Republican candidate in the primary election for Congressional District 1. Topics like immigration, foreign policy, the economy, racism in America, and social issues were discussed during the debate. A written breakdown of that debate can also be found at 1819news.com. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you. To have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
Robert Kennedy Jr. also spoke last night in Tuscaloosa at the University of Alabama. Kennedy is no longer within the Democratic Party, but has gone independent to run his presidential campaign. RFK Jr. revealed that he lived in Birmingham and Lowndes County decades ago as he worked as a legal advocate for the Waterkeepers Alliance. RFK Jr. expressed concern about agriculture, housing, the economy, and the role of the World Economic Forum during his speech. He even referenced BlackRock, Larry Fink, the meeting in Davos, Switzerland that was held last week, and Klaus Schwab of the WEF, who says the plan for humanity is for people to own nothing and still be happy. The Jimmy Buffett Coral Reefer Band is going to make its first appearance since the main singer's death last year. The May Bash Parrot Head Party will be held on May 11th at the Mort Glosser Amphitheater in Gadsden. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Sweetheart?
Yeah?
I've been thinking, I'm tired of this house.
What? You want to move?
Yeah, but we'd have to do some updating, to get top dollar.
Updating really does make a lot of sense, especially when you're talking about lighting. That's where Crosby Electric comes in. They'll help you choose a stunning pendant fixture over your bathroom sink, dramatic flush mount lighting over your kitchen island, maybe some LED panels to backlight your countertops. Energy-saving LED lighting has really come down in price. Or how about a new ceiling fan that moves air more efficiently than fans built only 10 years ago? The bottom line, updating your lighting almost always delivers a full return on your investment.
Well, sweetheart, the house looks fabulous.
Yeah.
Guess I'll put out the for sale sign.
Wait.
What?
I don't want to move.
Find out how to turn your house into the home you'll never want to leave. Visit crosbyelectric.com or call 272-2085.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. We got a full studio still. Eddie Bader and Craig Monger here in the house. You gentlemen doing all right?
Doing quite well.
I am killing the game. Thank you, sir.
Are you really wearing a tank top today?
I am. Yeah, I just threw on what I could find. And
John Cena, man. Come on.
Yeah,
that's true.
If you had guns like that, I mean, me, I wouldn't even have the jacket on.
But the hoodie's not coming off unless they start sending in some super chats or whatever that it's called on YouTube when you actually send money.
So I like to think those
you pearls.
Well, who brought those in here?
I don't know, but what if we promised you pearls? Could we get
This
a
will be
little
the
skin for the
day.
pearls?
I'm a diamond gal. I don't think that you can't buy me with oyster poop. What's wrong with you?
I tried.
Oh, goodness gracious. How about this? Let's go to our guest now on the phone. We have Lee Marshall, Kids to Love, and there's an amazing story. 1819 News came out about one of the first babies put in one of these baby boxes. But let's bring on Lee here. Hey, Lee, how are you this afternoon?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. I think before we get to the recent news, and I talked about it yesterday, read the story on air, we back up and talk about the beginning of the story and the change of the law here. So I'll let you begin. What was sort of the impetus to change these laws and to put more of these boxes in place?
Well, a year ago, our team was sitting in a team meeting, and we were looking at the overturning of Roe v. Wade and how the narrative on the news was women very frustrated because they felt like they had lost a choice. And so we knew that the safe haven boxes in other states had been successful. So I thought, let's give women another choice, a safe way to relinquish their baby. So our team went to work, and we realized that in Alabama, we were the very first state to pass the safe haven law several years ago, but we did not have the ability to have a baby surrendered at a fire station. And so we did the research to understand what it would take to get to work to do legislation, and partnered with Representative Donna Gibbons out of South Alabama to add the component of adding a baby box at a fire station in the state of Alabama. And another important discernment of adding the legislation that we did is it went from 72 hours to successfully surrender a baby at a hospital to now up to 45 days for that baby to be surrendered at a baby box at a fire station in the state of Alabama. So the legislation was passed in May unanimously by the Senate and the House, and the governor signed it into law in June. And then we went to work with donors, and we had donors come forward to say we want to actually cover the cost of these boxes. And so we've had donors step forward and fund 13 boxes that we're working to get placed across the state. The first one we opened in Madison January the 10th. We opened a second one in Prattville January the 11th. And we had no idea, and in fact, this is the quickest of all the boxes across the nation that a box has been utilized 12 days, and a mom safely surrendered her baby this week to that baby box in the city of Madison.
Well, and it seems like the timing of this is the day the box went up there in Madison is the day that baby was born. That's kind of amazing.
Well, the box went online on the 10th. And the baby was surrendered earlier this week. So it was 12 days from the day that we opened the box to the day that the mother used the box.
That's just absolutely amazing. Now, you said 13 boxes that are being through donors in your organization. Is there a plan and a way, if folks want to help, to expand this?
Oh, absolutely. And the biggest thing we have right now is the need for municipalities to come out and say we want to work with you. We have had some resistance from municipalities across the state, but we do have boxes that have already been purchased that are sitting at fire stations waiting to be installed in Dothan, Gadsden, Opelika, and Tuscaloosa. And, of course, since the news came out with the boxes being open in Madison and Prattville, we've had other municipalities reach out that our team is already working with them. And I've also had a donor the donors come back and said, Lee, if there's a city that wants a box, you just let me know. So I don't know exactly what that number looks like, but I can tell you that if there is a municipality that's listening to your show, we would love to have that conversation. I don't believe that resources are going to be a barrier to get boxes across the state of Alabama.
Now, it looks like one is planned for Montgomery, but you mentioned there's some pushback. What's the usual concerns people are throwing at you?
The biggest thing is the concern of liability. And, that was also a big concern when we were working on the legislation. There were many interest groups that shared concerns over liability. So so much of that was worked out. That opposition was heard, considered. The legislation was written to address and to alleviate that concern. And so it really is coming down to, different municipalities, the legal, and they have questions. But so far, a lot of that, we're able to get it worked out. It is stalling the process a little bit, but we're hoping that we can get that worked out. And what we're trying to do is just encourage these municipalities to reach out to the city of Madison and the city of Prattville, who have successfully navigated this, to understand how that happened and to, get their questions answered and their concerns alleviated.
Well, this is often on these airwaves, I lose my cool. The news and stuff is frustrating when it's not depressing. And so to be able to share this story yesterday and talk about it today is just not only a breath of fresh air, it's just a beautiful thing. Y'all got in motion and everybody involved in this. So if there are people out there listening that want to support Kids to Love and your work, how can they do so?
Well, our website is kidstolove.org, KIDSTOLOVE.org. We are very active on all the social media platforms, so just search for us and like us there. It's important to note that we don't take state or federal funding, and so the funds that we raise are invested directly into kids in foster care all across the state of Alabama. We also do foster care. We have private adoption. So there's several ways that we can serve on a statewide level. And we would just encourage people to go to the website to learn more about us. And if they feel compelled to get with us and support the mission, we would love that. If they want to help bring a box to their community, certainly reach out to us, and our team will reach out to that municipality, talk about next steps, because we would love to have more boxes in Alabama than any other state, and hope that they won't be used, but if they are needed, to be able to give that mom the option and to celebrate her choice of understanding that just because I wanted to give life to my child and I'm not ready to parent, there's absolutely no shame in that choice whatsoever.
Well, Lee, I appreciate the work you do and appreciate you calling in today. And hopefully we'll talk again soon. Thank you, ma'am.
Sounds great. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Again, Lee Marshall with Kids to Love. And like I was saying, and I saw you making faces over there, Eddie, good and bad.
I just hate that we're in that spot. I mean, I appreciate the resources being there, but I hate that that's where we're at in society.
Oh, the liability concern?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just can't stand that. It's just, to me, and I'm glad they were able to work it out, but it should be a non-issue.
Indeed. But this part of the program, before we forget, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage.
Oh, yeah.
They're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you folks, whether you're looking to buy a home, and it could be your first-time home buyer, or it ain't your first rodeo. Either way, you want to work with Alabama Home Mortgage. I'm telling you. I don't even know you, maybe, but I know you enough because you're a human being that wants a great deal, the best possible deal.
Of course.
Wants to be able to work with great local folks. They're going to get to know you and your goals in buying a home, and that's Alabama Home Mortgage.
That's how they do it, buddy.
And, of course, they can also help you with a refinance deal. So it could be you're looking to pay off debts, consolidate debts, especially credit card debts these days, or right after the holidays. It ain't fun usually.
She even mentioned a student loan program they had.
Yeah, usual refinances are cash out refinance, right. But this is a rate refinance, so it doesn't have the same cost, let's just say, that the normal refinance does.
Right, it can relieve a burden.
And you can refinance up to much more of your home's estimated value through that sort of program. So you could just knock out those student loans in one fell swoop if you have equity built up in your home there. Or heck, I wonder, like maybe you're a parent and you have equity built up in your home and you see your kids now in like their 20s or 30s, still student loans.
Yeah.
That'd be a heck of a gift right there.
It sure would be. Sure would be.
Alabama Home Mortgage can help you all accomplish that. 567-4223. That's 567-4223. You can also always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. And 272-9228 if you want to get on the program. Let's see who this is on line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Okay, listen. I got a couple questions about the baby box.
All right.
I did not know there was a time limit on when you could bring a kid back somewhere. Is there? I mean, so I guess there is, because I was threatened all my life. You know, I'm 10 years old. Mama tell me she's going to drop me off at the fire station.
I do kind of remember that threat myself. Yeah. Yep, I kind of remember that threat too.
And of course, I'm from Germany. You know, I got a German birth certificate I can't read. And when I get in trouble and stuff, I tell her, I said, you keep restrictions, I get beat and everything. And I said, I'm going to go back to the fatherland. And she said, no. She said, they don't have fried chicken and grits over there. You're not going to like it.
Yeah,
So,
you'll be back soon.
Yeah, I think Mama was just frustrated with you and scaring you a little bit there.
well, it did scare me. I didn't care. Nothing's ever worked on me. Okay, so, but serious questions now. Okay, so a lady has a baby, and then 10 days later she don't want it, so she puts it in a baby box, right?
Right.
All right, well, what about the neighbors and the friends, relatives, the DHR, going, hey, you had a baby, where's your baby at? You see what I'm saying? And then she goes, oh, I put it in a box. And I gave the baby away. Because, I mean, she's going to be responsible for the baby, having the baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just make a kid disappear. So how does she get clear, of that? How does she get clear to that baby that I didn't bury it in the backyard or something?
I'm not certain of the exact logistics, but I'd imagine that's part of the process of once you put the baby in that box. The grace period is essentially 45 days to be able to do something like that without any, say, penalties.
Okay, now what's the birth certificate on the baby? Was it just born at the fire station? Because you got to have a Social Security number and all that, the date of birth. You got to have paperwork.
Well,
So if you
they
don't put
They
the-
do that at the hospital.
Yeah,
though.
so they were born in the hospital. They get that right away.
Well, I know she already got it at the hospital, and 10 days later she turned it into the baby box. So she's not going to bring the paperwork.
The paperwork,
So you got-
the paperwork is provided by the Department of Public Health about a month or more after the baby's born. So they would find out where the baby was born and acquire the birth certificate that way. I'm assuming, just from having had
Well,
to
the
get my
baby
own
don't
child's
know
birth
where it's
certificate.
born. Okay, now my other question. All right, let's say a girl has a baby, and I'm the man. I don't want the baby. So I babysit the baby while she goes, out with her girlfriends, and then I put it in the baby box.
Kidnapping.
So that could happen.
It could be kidnapping.
Yeah, but
You go to jail.
that would be kidnapping.
Yeah, you
and
go right to jail.
I'm sure the mom doesn't want to give away the baby. There'd be a big stink about that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think it's going to happen at some point because not everybody asks these questions, beforehand. And the man says, well, I put it in the baby box. I didn't kidnap it. I turned it back in. And then, anyway, we'll hear about that one day. But I like the baby box idea. I understand the concept behind it and everything like that. But, I mean, there's just some things that will be some interesting news reports over the years.
I'm sure there will be.
And also, I've got somebody texting me involved in all this saying most abandoned babies are born in secret, not in a hospital. The authorities do a search for babies who are missing. These questions have all been asked, not a new idea.
Okay, well, well, if you're pregnant, you're obviously pregnant. Your neighbors know about it, and then the baby disappears. They'll still report it. So even if they are born in secret, but anyway, all right, guys, talk to y'all later.
See you, bud.
I prefer the boxing babies idea. I like to put them in a cage and watch them fight.
Box them out.
Yeah.
But like cute little gloves that don't hurt?
No, yeah, adorable. They can be vicious, but I mean, they're not going to do any damage. They're babies.
Right.
I do it for money.
Well,
Take bets on it. I have a whole baby boxing book.
Do it for money. Are you Cartman now? Like, you just
No, those are a specific kind of baby, Joseph. Very specific kind of baby. You are going to get me in trouble, Joey.
No, you were already doing that yourself, sir. Oh man, so many ways to go here. How about this? Let's reset, hit this break, come back. More news and views in the afternoon after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey, it's Lyle from Marguerite's. We all want to wish you a wonderful, happy new year, 2024. We're building all new, beautiful jewelry for you. Of course, we remake things. If you have anything sitting around, bring it in. Let's see what we could do with it. Marguerite's is full service. We have the best jewelers around. We have the best gift wrappers around. We have the best merchandise around. We have the best pricing around. We have the best quality around. But I'm not bragging. We're darn good, though. Come in and see us at Marguerite's. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to a great 2024.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Have you ever considered turning your home into a rental and build wealth at the same time? People throughout the river region are doing that right now. By investing wisely in the right property or turning your current home into a rental is the secret. Hiring a property manager to professionally manage your property is the way to prosperity. Our company does all of the advertising, personally showing prospective tenants, does a thorough background check and credit report before moving forward. Over 15 critical services are provided to our clients in protecting the asset, but also providing the best residence in your home possible. Collecting rent on time and frequent inspections help landlords feel better about renting their house, and to provide clean, well-kept homes that anybody would be proud to call home. For a complete list of property management services, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Hey, this is Randy and Tammy Burkhalter at Prattville Farm Center.
Hey, Randy, tell me about those hot chicks I've been hearing about.
Now, Tammy, I don't know any since we got married.
No, Randy, the baby chick.
Oh, yeah, we're getting Rhode Island Reds, Americanas, Buff Orpingtons, and about 6 other different varieties.
Plus ducks, turkeys, geese, and guineas.
Hey, and raising chickens is a great family project.
And you get to look forward to fresh eggs.
Visit Prattville Farm Center at 1154 South Memorial Drive and pick up your hot chicks today.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Before we keep going here, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy or sell that property here in the River Region real estate market. And It's not just buyers and sellers they're helping out. They also have rental management services available. Great idea. It's a great market, the River Region market for rental investments. But let's be honest, it can be a pain in the backside to actually do that yourself. And if you don't know what you're doing, you probably want to go with some pros like the Goodson Group who can manage that property for you for a very reasonable fee. Make it a performing asset for you. And then the crown jewel there at the Goodson Group is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs here in the state. Because, well, number one, it's an interactive course. You're learning from Bo's 40-plus years of experience firsthand. He's been through it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then you just see how many folks have graduated from the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, whether as more knowledgeable private players or as fully licensed realtors. So check out the Goodson Group today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of News and Views in the afternoon. Now, there's apparently, it's going through. The execution is going through.
Certainly seems that way.
Now, this is with the nitrogen hypoxia approach,
to which is technically an incorrect term, but it's part of the Alabama code. They call it hypoxia. It's technically not hypoxia, but yeah, you breathe in nitrogen.
No, what is what's the difference?
I would be willing to explain that after I reread the article that I wrote regarding the subject.
Basically, they're going to replace his oxygen with nitrogen, and that's it.
And
you just go to sleep.
Yeah. Well,
or is it painful?
It's painful. They're going to sit here and play. He's not dead instantly. It's 1 to 2 minute death. So
yeah, but do you ease into it? Like,
you should go to the principle is that you go to sleep and you just don't wake up after. Of course, so you go to sleep, and if they were to take the mask off then and there, you'd probably come to fairly easily. But they leave it on sufficiently for you to go bye.
And this is Kenneth Eugene Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to happen tonight.
Yes. It'll likely happen in the morning, I'm assuming.
And this is the guy where they tried doing lethal injection and that was held off.
They dehydrated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all coming back to me.
Yeah, that's the suspicion. Oh, it happened twice. So there's, and I believe the other guy's name had a Kenneth in it or a Eugene.
Something like that, yeah. But I remember both dehydration, which, come on.
Yeah.
And again, just to remind folks, Smith was one of 3 men convicted in 1988, the 1988 murder for hire plot of Elizabeth Sennett. Prosecutor said her husband, Charles, hired Billy Williams to kill his wife. Williams recruited Smith and John Parker and paid them $1,000 each. $1,000 to kill a person.
Yeah.
Animals.
We executed him quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And the reverend husband who orchestrated the whole thing took his own life.
So this is the last of
this trio. 30-something years later, God help us all.
Right.
There's that. I mean, you can get into debates on whether you think the death penalty is justice or whatever. What isn't justice is having the ramifications for your actions dealt 30+ years later. I mean, with generations of your family gone.
Yeah.
That isn't justice by any stretch of the imagination. And these wheedling apologists who like to complain and talking about experimentation and it's this and that. He killed a lady.
Right.
Now we can actually have a good conversation about how efficacious the state has been in carrying out this duty. But there is no question in my mind and the mind of most people that there are crimes that a person can commit that forfeit their right to live.
Yep.
Yes. No, and that's where I go back and forth on the death penalty because the case I always cite, it's an old one.
Yeah.
It's where a Texas rancher catches a farmhand sodomizing the man's daughter.
Into that.
And so the rancher kills the farmhand on the spot.
Beats him to death.
Yeah. And that goes in front of a Texas grand jury and they acquit him, said you didn't do anything wrong.
Yep.
So in that sense, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have said that guy did anything wrong. I think he did the right thing there. When you start talking about these decades-long process, and then how many times does the state make a mistake, too? Like somebody who's wrong, especially some of these older cases, there is
that's where a lot of
question.
Yeah, and that's the distinction that I made. You know, if someone asks me, do you support the death penalty, I always say that's one question, but you're asking two. One is, do I believe that there is crimes that a person commits that absolutely forfeit their right to live? 100%.
Yes.
Yep. Do I think that the state has proven itself adequate to that charge? No, I do not.
Well, it's kind of like, you don't, wild wolves are beautiful animals, but they're wild predatory animals.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go kill a wolf, but if a wolf starts preying around your area and you say you have kids, you have family, you have yourself,
cattle, you're
going to kill the predator.
What you do.
And if a person displays themselves to be essentially a predator, and like that, some folks are just no damn good. I'll put it that way.
But they do like to be. There's a case that's ongoing right now, and in 30 years' time, when we decide to execute this guy, and we will execute this guy, even though his trial hasn't begun, the evidence seems pretty damning.
Mm-hmm.
He paid a mom to take their 4-year-old daughter into another room. Kamari Holland, I will remember her name till the day that I die. And he took her into a house, killed her, did things that you shouldn't do with a child anyway, but after she was dead, and filmed it and paid his mother for this. Are you telling me that that type of animal is someone that deserves to be walking around? I'll never believe you if you say yes.
Thank you.
Never once. And these wheedling, like I said, apologists and advocates, while I somewhat believe that they're sincere, they are not only are they robbing the families of justice, and it is justice. If a man sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. That's a principle as old as time. If that is the case, it is justice for him to be put to death, and not only regardless of any after that moment, grace or repentance that he has undergone. That does not change it. You can be right with God, and the government still and the state, the people have the right to be like, you have to pay, you have to make a penance for what you've done. And what these advocates do is they rob people like this of the chance to endure a noble death for what they have done, because they make them go through these processes. And when you read this one for Kenneth Smith, he was talking about the nitrogen thing, and he was talking about, what if I have PTSD? What if I asphyxiate? What if I throw up? What if I freak out, or all this stuff? Let the man die well. We're all going there. The best that any of us can hope at the end of this road is to die well. If you have killed another person, regardless of you regret it, you do all of this stuff, it is now your responsibility to die well. And it is not dying well by, I just got this statement. It says statement from Kenneth Smith and the minister who accompanied him during his gas execution. I don't believe for a minute that he wrote this. The eyes of the world are on this impending moral apocalypse. Our prayer is that the world will not turn their heads. We simply cannot normalize the suffocation of each other. No, we can't normalize the stabbing and bludgeoning of each other for $1,000. You took money, a relatively small amount of money, to murder a woman at her husband's behest. Accept that, deal with it, and go and accept the going hence that we will all have to endure. Endure it with some dignity. Endure it with some respect. Not this wheedling, please don't do this. He even said something about wanting to do a firing squad. It's like, but whenever he had the lethal injection that didn't go through, right? He said, I shouldn't be put to death by lethal injection because I selected nitrogen hypoxia. Well, now that hypoxia is available, he's saying, no, I don't want to do this because I'm afraid of the mask. I won't be able to pray aloud.
And that's what kills me, though. People buy into these excuses.
No, they don't. They don't believe it.
The ones that you're just talking about, the ones that go to him and they literally go to the press and say, oh, you shouldn't put this man to death. Oh, we're doing this. We're PTSD. No one ever mentions the victim.
Nobody.
That's what ticks me off. And it has been too long. And that's why they do wait. They wait forever because they hope most of the generations have passed. All is forgotten, and then maybe we'll spare this person's life.
Yeah, did you see what Elizabeth Senate's son said? Eric Thomas over at 1819 News interviewed him. The headline is, Alabama's judicial system sucks.
Yep.
That's the quote.
Can't argue with that. I mean,
he's been 30 years. And can you imagine what he must be going through? Your mother was murdered at the behest of your father, and you have these gaggles of people coming out and are trying to spare him because of some misplaced moral sense of virtue. It's infuriating. If I was him, I'd be pulling my hair out.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sympathetic to him. I mean, it must be absolutely torturous to spend decades waiting for the time where you'll be put to death. For God's sakes, just endure it with some dignity. If you're innocent, proclaim your innocence. Go through that. He's not saying he's innocent.
Right.
Nobody's saying he's innocent. He's just saying he shouldn't be put to death for what? For what reason?
You don't want to. At the end of the day. He doesn't think he deserves to die.
It's unpleasant, but guess what? So is what you did to Elizabeth Sennett.
Let's never forget that.
It's so infuriating because it's not just a question of of the state's actions, and obviously there have been cases where people posthumously have been found innocent, and that's happened.
Oh yeah,
it was a much older time before we have what we have now.
Yeah.
And I just wish people would have some moral consistency in this argument.
Well said. Well said indeed. Let's go to Soldier Boy. Right. Hey, Soldier Boy.
Whoa, who's your guest?
Craig Monger of 1819 News.
We've talked before,
bro. Hey, Craig, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in combat?
Not military combat, no.
Exactly. Right. So, And you've ever had a man that half blown apart in your possession and arms and legs missing?
Not blown apart, no.
Okay. Well, when I was in Iraq, I saw many Marines. We went to Fallujah, okay? So the Bible says, thou shalt not kill. That's pretty short and sweet to the point. But guess what? I'm going to protect his great gift, which he gave to me. And here's the problem with Alabama. You guys are the kings and queens of appeals. I can't believe it. It keeps the average taxpayer in the state of Florida $50,000 to keep a person on death row. And how many years has this guy been on death row?
30 plus.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much is that? Do the math there, Joey.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
And what takes you guys? What takes the state of? I'm not saying you guys, but the state of Alabama as a whole. What takes so long?
The appeals process.
Yeah, you already said it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the combat snipe at the beginning had to do with anything, but yeah, it's the appeals process.
Well, you said about dying with honor and this and honor and
everyone has to.
dying-
Everyone has
I
to
don't believe that.
shuffle off this mortal coil, and I'm saying the best that anyone can hope for is to do so with dignity. I didn't say honor. I'm not a samurai, but everyone has to die.
How do you die with dignity?
By dying well, by accepting your fate with dignity. How do you
Okay,
say?
so
How do
when
you die
I'm in
with
the military and I
dignity?
get shot and I get
tough-
killed, am I dying with dignity or am I dying for my country?
Wait, say that again.
Or am I dying for my morals and values?
I'm sorry. Repeat that.
Am I dying for my morals and values? Am I dying of dignity out on the combat field?
You can. If you die running away, throwing your weapon down, fleeing your brothers in arms, and you get shot in the back, that's less dignified than dying with bullets in your chest.
Okay. What was that guy that did the? He was against. He was from the state of Alabama, wasn't he? He won the Medal of Honor, I think, and he climbed up with it. Yep. Now, he ran away many a time.
I'm really confused as to what point you think you're making.
Well, the point I'm saying is, what I've seen, and what I've felt, and what I've smelled, okay, and what I've physically felt, there's no dying with honor.
No, that is an absolutely foolish statement to make.
Well, I'm glad,
every
glad
single.
you assess me as foolish. Thank you.
I said you made a foolish statement. Try to listen. Use your ears. They're attached to the side of your head. There is a way in which you can die with dignity, and there is a way that you can die without dignity.
Well, and I guess he hung up. Yeah, I didn't distinction without the difference.
Is he dying for his country? Is he dying with dignity? What's the difference?
Often some would say dying for your country is dignified.
Yeah, okay, it absolutely can.
Dying for others in a larger cause.
I'm really. I wasn't trying to be too harsh, but I'm legitimately confused as to what point he was trying to make.
This happens in this line of work,
Oh,
Craig.
what
You'll
do you
find out. That was mild compared to some of the crap I've said. Let's go to Outlaw. Hey, Outlaw, how you doing?
Hey, it's been a long time.
Yes, sir.
I just turned on to your radio show about 15 minutes ago. I usually listen to it every day.
Thank you.
Who's the religious person on there?
Hi, it's Craig. How are you?
Hi, Craig.
Yes.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in combat?
Oh my God, what is this with this question? No, I have not.
This is a good question, Craig, because I have. I served in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
I served in a lot of very, very hot situations.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen men die up close. And let me tell you something, Craig. If you've never been there, if you haven't seen death like that around you,
Don't presume to know what level of death I have and have not experienced. Just because I haven't seen combat, do you want me to tell you about pulling dead bodies out of a fallen building after an earthquake in China that killed hundreds of thousands? You want me to tell you that I know exactly what a mass grave smells like? Don't presume to know what I do and do not experience.
Well, Craig, when you get through, puffing yourself up, and
I have the microphone; they can hear me all right.
Letting everybody know the way you think that they ought to believe about something.
That's why I have the microphone.
Yeah, you're a Pharisee. You're a person who calls himself a Christian. You have no love in your heart. You're bitter. You're angry. And I'm a follower of Christ. And I tell you, man, I would rather go the route of love and mercy any day. And there are many, many men in this country, many who have been put to death that were innocent.
I acknowledge that.
I'm not saying this man is innocent or not. I'm glad that I am not the judge and the jury of any case where a man has to be put to death.
You know the guy who wrote the words "Thou shalt not kill" put people to death. You know that, right?
Yeah. I also know Jesus came along and showed mercy to the woman that committed a capital offense.
Well, tell that to
punishable by
Ananias.
being
Tell that to
stoned
Ananias
death.
and Sapphira. By the way, don't quote.
Never mind, man.
No. You're
You-
quoting the
you-
woman calling adultery, which isn't a part of the original textual tradition.
You
So
Southern
first of all, you
Baptists
don't know
are
what you're
quick to
talking
jump
about,
on that
and
Old
secondly, the Holy
Testament.
Spirit
Y'all
killed
know
Ananias and
everything,
Sapphira
and
for
you don't
stealing from
know
God.
nothing.
You don't know what you're talking about.
And you don't know anything.
I
Craig,
know that the woman called
called
adultery isn't found in the original textual tradition of the New Testament. I knew that, and you didn't.
272-9228.
Having fun today, Joey.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're enjoying ourselves here. Let's go to Randall. Hey, Randall.
Eddie, don't let me forget to hang up on it. So you know what I mean? It'll be 3 in a row. Man, it's a touchy subject, man. And look, man, everybody, you die for the brothers and sisters beside you. You don't ever forget that. You ain't no other reason you there, and because it's gonna get harsh on you for the real reasons y'all think y'all at war. And when you find out what really happened, just always remember you was dying for the man beside you and the woman. That's who you fighting for. And don't ever forget that, because I can tell a lot of emotions about this, and it's just get rough when you start finding out why we were really over places, because it's gonna have to come to fruition. And that's the only way. That's the only way that we can articulate and get past what's ahead of us, and even think about putting a stop to it. We needed this. I mean, we need to let this out. I mean, we need to get so people can take in. You know what I mean? Like how other people perceive things, and that way you can understand how they relate, and then that's their reality. And we've got a good dose of it right here on News Talk 93.1 with Joy, Eddie, and Craig. Man, bless y'all. Bless you, Craig. I mean, man, you know what I mean? It's hard holding dead bodies no matter what level you hold them at. No matter what level. If it's on the cleanup side, and when it comes to this death penalty, the best way to solve this is if it's 100%, and everybody knows, we ought to have a system in place that's just like the lottery. There's 6 cells, because if there's more than 6, then we got a problem anyway. There's gas chambers or whatever we decide it to be, and a color rolls up. And if that, you cannot know the day you die. You have to let fate decide that. You can't let a human pick that. I don't care if it's 1 out of 3. We have to design a system that pulls a color code. And then if your color comes up, that thing locks down. Boom, you're out of there. There ain't no question. That way, you know, you get in that Bible, you get in that Quran, you sit beside some monks. Whatever you do, you know what I mean? That's on you. You had the chance. You had 48 hours before your number starts rolling. But after that, it rolls. And that's the only way to do it. You cannot do it no other way. You put too much human side in it, and then somebody else has got to close their eyes and try to go sleep tonight. And it ain't fair to them. And that's not how it should be. It should not be like that. It's 2024, and 3 people should not pull a lever and decide, you know what I mean? They don't know which one. They know one of the 3, but they don't know which 3. And I don't even know if that's how to do it no more. And I honestly believe that before they had people on the team that would not find a vein on purpose because they did not believe in death penalty. You have to watch who you put in place, just like who you put in place in the library. I mean, it's no different. You have to see who you're putting in charge, and then you'll know what's happening. Because I believe they act like they couldn't find a vein on purpose. And they believe in the death penalty. Some people don't believe in death penalty, and they can't sleep at night, knowing that they are the reason that somebody's dead. So you can't put that on people. You do it automatically with machine-wise. We take the human side out of it, because you just saw what happened. Some people that put them needles in folks' arms, they have to lay down at night. No matter no matter what they did to another human, that's still a human. You just may kill somebody else, man. And that crap ain't fun, because I just went through it. And we ought to go out of May to be done with it, man. I don't even know where I was going with the phone call, but brother, I love y'all, man.
Appreciate it, Randall.
And,
love you, Randall. Take care, brother.
Humanity always wins. See y'all.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings.
Dillon Rings, Joey.
Now, we were talking about the custom design work that can be done. Man, I look at all these phone calls, and I'm sitting here, y'all are calling, I'm trying to talk to Eddie.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious.
I'm sorry. That's probably my fault.
Nah, it's fine.
Some people want to scream at me. I'm sure.
Do you think the Funky Fresh medallions are a good idea for Eddie and I?
I really do.
Do you want in on this?
I would. Absolutely.
All right. I think, see, here's the deal. It could be as silly as something like that. Like, we're going to get matching medallions that go out on the town and be absurd. Or it could be something as poignant as, I want to remember my grandmother. I want to remember a kid I lost. Or I want to upgrade a piece of jewelry I inherited. There's so many different ways Josh Ryder can do that custom design work. Could be you have a bunch of different pieces of jewelry, you never wear it all, so what you want to do is combine it into one piece. He's done that sort of work before. Or it could be even had a dream. He can literally make a dream a reality there at Dillon Rings. I've seen him do it. And what's so cool is he can create a digital rendering of the custom piece he's designed, have it on, say, the skin tone of yours, matching whether it's a ring or a bracelet or a necklace. So you see, oh, yeah. And if you approve it, he'll actually make it a reality. That custom design work is amazing. What Josh Ryder can do is quite amazing. So check him out today. You can always go to DillonRings.com. That's DillonRings.com. Or give him a call, 215-3669. And don't forget, fellas, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. And at Dillon Rings, they have some great specials and sales to, help you out as you're looking for the right thing for that lady in your life. Y'all check out Dillon Rings today. Be sure to tell them you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. We got to hit a break.
Do we?
Yeah.
With a quick question, are you going to the gym tonight?
Am I going to the gym tonight? I was there this morning.
All right. Well, they wanted to see if you're going to wear your blue spandex. Apparently, their aunt was planning on going to the gym tonight, but want to make sure.
I don't have blue spandex.
Well, apparently that's what they said.
That's what they said.
That's what they said.
I'm just relaying the message. But they're going to be disappointed because they're going to the gym tonight.
What reason would they have to lie, Joey?
This is true. Don't look at me. It's the callers. I'm just taking the calls.
You ever thought about murdering someone?
Oh, quite often.
I know it's against the Lord's commandments, but...
Sometimes there's justification.
But, I'd die at least with some dignity and be like, yep, I did it. I killed Eddie. I killed him good. We'll be right back.
Spandex on?
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. Flood watch continues in effect today through Saturday with additionally some excessive rainfall amounts possible. A very spring-like day, high in the middle 70s. Showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy downpours, marginal severe weather risk today. Tonight slow down to about 63. Tomorrow, another round of showers and thunderstorms, high 73. Then on Saturday, a stronger system, the final one. Locally heavy rainfall at times, level 2 severe weather risk, high 72. Cooler and drier on Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. 5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting, Montgomery.
Conservative Justice Sarah Stewart has the experience to lead Alabama's courts. As a tough-on-crime judge, Sarah Stewart presided over hundreds of cases, giving tough sentences to the worst criminals. Republicans can trust Justice Sarah Stewart to defend the Constitution and protect our families. On March 5th, vote conservative Republican Sarah Stewart for Alabama Chief Justice. Paid for by Sarah Stewart Campaign, 2029B, Airport Boulevard, Mobile, Alabama, 36606.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. And let's go right to the phones before we get to some of these calls and go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. How you doing, Ray?
Well, I was just complaining about my computer not having spell check on my return email. And my spelling is awful. It's just, I'm so glad I'm better at spelling carpet than I am spelling.
Isn't that the irony of this modern world, that the spell check makes us worse at spelling?
Oh, no, I've been bad at spelling since, like, second grade.
I was trying to help you, man. I was trying to say.
No. Look, it is what God gave me. Being dyslexic, spelling, Nope. I mean, they would give us, like, they really felt sorry for us. This is before they had all the special needs and they could get all the special help. They said, okay, Ray and Ron, they're going to flunk third and fourth grade over spelling. Let's give them A, B, and C choices. We still couldn't pass it.
Dang, Ray.
I know. And now I'm on the library board. Go figure. The Lord has a sense of humor.
In Alabama, too, at that.
Hey, you still sell carpet?
we do. We sell all kinds of flooring. Now, your contract will not be spelled correctly, but the flooring will be installed correctly. So you got a choice. Either the contract's going to be spelled correctly and the floors won't be installed correctly, or vice versa. So let's just go ahead and let's get the floors put in properly.
You're right. You are so right.
And so folks should call 285-8117?
That's it. Call us today. Hey, and we called your customer this afternoon and already been out there.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, Ray.
Woo-hoo.
You are the man.
No problem. We'll get them taken care of quickly.
All right. Appreciate it, Ray.
Appreciate you, Ray.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Man, I love that guy.
Man, he's great. Had a little water damage job and talked to Ray this morning. Already done taking care of it. It's good to know that, especially in my business.
So who should we go to next?
Well, we hadn't talked to Gray Ryder in a while.
Yeah, let's talk to him. Hey, Gray Ryder.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Is your guest still there?
Yes, Craig is still here.
Yo, he thought you kicked me out.
Get out!
He just won't leave.
No, I just wanted to call and say that I'm sorry that you had to put up with all that mess. I mean, somebody sitting up there, the first thing they're doing is, have you ever been in combat? What a disingenuous piece of crap argument. Trying to get the moral high ground by trying to put you on the defensive for something that has absolutely nothing to do with the subject at hand. The man committed murder, not war. And if it was in my power, I think people who do such an act should be killed in the same manner that they killed their victim. I'm not worried about touchy-feely. I'm not worried about what everybody else may think about it. I'm thinking true justice. If you commit an act such as this, you deserve to go the same way. And you just keep preaching, brother. I think that everything you said was right on, and I'm right there with you.
Well, thanks, Gray Ryder. Big kiss. Mwah.
I don't know about all that.
All right. Great big heterosexual hug.
Yeah. Hey, man. Greet one another with a brotherly kiss. That's in the Bible, too.
Yeah.
And that's in the textual tradition.
Appreciate it, Gray Ryder.
Thank you, Gray Ryder.
And, by the way, I've been on this 90s nostalgia kick, and there are pages on Facebook.
Yeah.
And one of the pages just posted this, and I shared it. And to all this conversation, especially in the last 30 minutes, O'Doyle rules. Let's go to Dirty Water. Hey, Dirty Water.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm sitting up here in Millbrook in a typhoon.
Oh,
I had to pull off. I might be a little bit behind what you guys were talking about. But these guys were trying to conflate military deaths with penitentiary, executions. You can't do that.
You're right on the money.
Not even a little bit. It's apples and oranges. I know that's cliche, but it's 100%.
I had the pleasure of being a combat Marine. I held my best friend in my arms while he died. Actually, he took his last breath. And then I had the pleasure of I did 3.5 years in the state penitentiary, starting off at William E. Donaldson up there. And I saw people get stabbed to death. People, it seems to me, people want to have a monopoly on trauma from death. It doesn't matter if it was in combat, on the street, or in prison. Death is death. When you see somebody die, it's just as horrible, no matter who it was.
Yes, sir.
And in what context? It's irrelevant.
Yeah, you can't. Conflate these two things together.
Well, I appreciate the call, Dirty Water. We're pretty much out of time, but I think that's a good way to end the program here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
All right, love you, Joey. You're a badass man.
Oh, my Lord.
I think I'm normalizing love on the Joey Clark Show.
Yeah, we are out of time. So, hey, are y'all going to be back tomorrow?
Yes, if you'll have me after
yeah, of
the
course.
Fuffle.
Dude, that was mild compared to some rants I've gone on. So appreciate all y'all. Appreciate the calls, too, and the arguments. This is part of...
it's conversation, man.
I love you, Soldier Boy, no matter what they say about you. Mwah.
Just conversation. I enjoy having
Happy hours next.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.